namaste, vanakkam to our broadcast of the Speed Chess Championship 2022. And what a wonderful way to kickstart this event. We have our Indian superstar, the awesome Arjun Erigaisi, battle it out with world number 6, Fabiano Caruana of the USA. And we are your co-hosts for the evening. I'm International Master Soumya Swaminathan, and we have our favorite Grandmaster Srinath Narayanan, who is also the coach of Arjun. Hi Shri, how have you been?
Hi, Soumya. It's so good to be back here with you. I've been doing awesome. How have you been?
I've been doing good too. I've been following the World Team games on the side, and of course, we won against France in the first round. So that's already put me in a really good mood. And now we have Arjun versus Fabi. I'll let you in on a secret chat between me and Rakesh when he wrote to me about the matchup. I was stunned to see our Indian boys are playing against all the superstars they must have grown up watching. And just to think about the amount of progress they have done in the lockdown fills you up with so much pride as an Indian chess lover. And you have been a huge contributor to that, Shri. Arjun is your student. How are you feeling about this?
Thank you so much, Soumya. Arjun really makes me proud. He's been so amazing, especially post the lockdown. He used to be something around 25-50 before the COVID pandemic began, and here he is at 27-23. 27-18 is his I think exact rating, classical. But he's grown to such an extent that in a match against the former World Championship challenger, Fabiano Caruana, one of the best players in the modern era, in such a match, Arjun arguably starts as one of the favorite in the speed chess format. Now, it's a bit arguable who starts as a favorite today. Because you can never really count out Fabiano, right? He's the former
Yeah.
World Championship challenger. He's played at the highest level for so many years, and he's also adapted pretty well to the faster formats. He won the title Tuesday just a couple of weeks ago,
Oh, yeah.
so he's been doing really well. He's recently started to stream a bit as well while playing in his channel, the C Squared podcast.
Yeah.
You can never count out Fabiano, but nevertheless, I think Arjun has grown to a point where you kind of expect him to beat such players.
Wow, that those are really encouraging words, Srinath. Do you? I think now is a good time to show our chat the format of the Speed Chess Championship. Can we have that on the screen, please? So it's a 16 player knockout, and each match the player scores points. All the points scored are counted together in the three time controls. Player with the most point wins and advances to the next round. Also, the three time controls will be 90 minutes. For the first 90 minutes, it will be 5 plus 1 blitz games, then 60 minutes of 3 plus 1 blitz games, and 30 minutes of 1 plus 1 bullet games. This is going to be a serious adrenaline rush for both of us and the players and everyone watching.
Absolutely, Soumya. And I think the 5+1 portion is going to be very important, especially for Fabi.
Mhm.
It's it's a bit bold to make predictions for this match between such two incredibly strong players. You cannot write anyone off. But I think Fabi's best chances is in the 5+1. The lower the time gets, I think the chances for Arjun gets a bit better. There you see Fabi's stats. Is just 30 years old, but already almost 1.5 times older than his opponent. A blitz rating of 30-87, bullet rating of 30-45, a very high win percentage, and his strength is his precision and his opening preparation. He's usually quite intense, which Arjun is also. And his Speed Chess Championship record is a bit underwhelming. 2 wins, but 5 losses. But having said that, as I mentioned earlier, he's played a lot of Title Tuesday recently. He won the Title Tuesday in November 15, defeating Hikaru Nakamura. So that's Fabiano for you. Now let's bring up Arjun Erigaisi's stats. Aged just 19 years old. Its blitz rating is just 1 point below Fabiano's at 3086. But look at that bullet rating, a monstrous bullet rating. And the rating doesn't quite speak for itself here, because Arjun has done better. He defeated Nihal Sarin in the Junior Speed Chess Championship final, earning his way to the Speed Chess Championship. And he did that by defeating Nihal Sarin in bullet
Oh, yes.
5 games in
Oh,
a row.
yeah. In fact, he's one of the two players to have qualified to this tournament, right? The Junior Speed Chess Championship champion actually qualified to this tournament. So they worked their way up, and also the Bullet Chess champion. So these are two qualified players, and another two of them were also part of the list of qualifiers. So yeah, wonderful achievement there by Arjun.
Absolutely. And this is his debut in the Speed Chess Championship. He's playing here for the first time.
Wow, so thrilling. I must ask you, if you don't mind, what have been your words of advice to Arjun in his match today?
I just told him that he should take this match seriously. The Speed Chess Championship is also important. So, before making any plans about the future and stuff, first focus. Oh, do we have the
We
kickoff?
have we have kickoff, Srinath, but please keep going. We can get this board by then. Please continue and let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, Arjun is also someone who thinks a lot. And while there was this one point where he was talking about the future plans and how he wants to change things, and I told him, before we get there, first let's get past this match. The Speed Chess Championship is also a very important tournament, a chance to play against the best players in the world. And here we have the kickoff. It's a Queen's Gambit declined, right?
Yes, it was a QGD with Carlsbad structure. So let's just go through the opening moves quickly and reach where we have reached live. D4, D5, C4, E6, Knight C3, C6, CD, ED, Knight F3, Knight F6, Bishop F4 played, Bishop F5, E3, Knight BD7, H3, Bishop E7. चैट को हम याद दिला दें कि पहले 90 मिनट्स तक 5+1 के गेम्स खेले जाएंगे. So this will be the format for the next few minutes.
Yes, and once again, I think it's an important format from Fabiano's perspective. He, I think, should try and get himself a good lead as much as he can. I remember another prodigy, Alireza Firouzja, playing his first time in the Speed Chess Championship. It was against Levon Aronian. And I remember Levon had such a dominating performance in the 5+1. He had such a massive lead. But when it came to 3+1, already the lead started narrowing. And in 1+1, Fabiano caught up a lot. So despite having a massive lead, Aronian was able to win that match just by a margin of 2 points or something. And as far as the shorter formats are concerned, I think Arjun might have a similar advantage. So Fabiano, I think, should try and get himself a lead in the 5+1.
So that's a great piece of advice, actually, Shri. I mean, great perspective for someone watching the match from the outside. It obviously seems as we obviously count the match scores as total, but this difference in format makes a lot of difference, and you have to play to your strengths. So Fabi needs to play very, very strongly in the area where he's strongest, that is in the 5+1, while Arjun, of course, I think he's strong in all the three formats. So the more we are discussing, the more I feel inclined towards supporting Arjun, not only as an Indian, but as a chess fan itself, because of the way he handles faster time controls. Yeah, Bishop D6. I like what Black is doing.
The pair of bishops being neutralized by Arjun, and it's a pretty solid structure for both the sides, but maybe a bit easier to play as Black, no?
Yeah, beautiful rook on H8, looking at an semi-open file, and this bishop always stuck to defending the pawn on H3, but now castle, and that's gone. So I think rook B1 was aimed against long castle, and Maybe that's why black has decided to short castle, and now g6 and rook h8. Very nice idea.
Oh, okay. That's his idea. But it's a bit paradoxical, no? If he wanted to do that, he could have just done king f8, g6, king g7.
That's true. Maybe he did not like e4 coming in at some point, and he didn't want to keep his king on e8, and he just quickly castle. But I also like long castle here, to be honest. But 5+1 में शायद इतना time ही नहीं मिलता कि आप जल्दी जल्दी decide कर सके.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Long castle looked tempting and nice. From Fabiano's perspective, he's looking to get that e4 in because the c4 square for now it's owned by the black knight, and e4 will free up his bishop. It will bring his bishop to a better space, and also create some chances in the e file. But playing e4 will also weaken the f4 square. So he's played e4, he has done that committal move, but this will also give access to the f4 square for the black knight in the future, which is what Fabiano prevented when he played rook b1. That knight on b6 cannot move because the b7 pawn would be hanging. But it's temporary.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think I can still go king g7 here, or I have to start exchanges with queen d7 and rook e8? Yeah, he has gone for rook e4, so maybe queen d7 and rook e8 next, or maybe something else. I don't know. Because is it okay to give up this e file?
Yeah, queen d7 looks very logical.
Queen a3 also looks good, no? Attacking both the pawns and putting white on the defensive.
Yeah, queen a3 also looks quite interesting. He goes queen d8. I think the idea is to play rook e8, but on d7, the queen was not protecting the g5 pawn, so it may have allowed some queen e5 related things. So he drops down all the way back to d8, and Fabiano kind of relinquishes the fight for the e file. Instead, he wants to exert pressure on the b7 point. So with queen d3, he prepares to play c4 and c5. So kind of making Arjun's queen d8 look inconsequential. Arjun retaliates with queen e7, covering the b7 pawn, defending it indirectly, and potentially preparing to get his rook to d8 after c4.
That's on the board, Srinath. And yeah, like this bishop still looks good, but it has been blunted by the pawn on c6. So this is actually a very good formation against the bishop on g2 because it limits its scope. However, still it's still a great piece, the Catalan bishop as you call it. But the knight on b6 also needs to find a way to make itself active, or do you think we can simply target the c4 pawn by something like queen e6 here? Or
No, you
no,
can't
c5?
move the queen, I think, because c5 is happening.
Hmm.
So he starts with rook d7. Maybe the idea is queen e6. Yeah, also queen d8. It's a very useful move, preparing multiple things. And
Queen f6
with
even,
rook,
right?
yeah, now it looks like black can take over because queen f6 and c5 coming.
But he has gone for queen d8, so rook e4. For now, both of white's hanging pawns are protected. However, black is the one I feel who's feeling a little more comfortable in this position because these are the weaknesses that black can attack, whereas white is not able to really target any of black's weaknesses.
Yeah, true, absolutely, Soumya. Long term, I think black is better. But Fabiano keeps having these little threats. Queen e3 should be met by knight d6, I think.
And yeah,
Rook e5, still keeping this e8 rook e8 threat. Yeah.
You cannot take this chat. Can you tell us why? You have to be really fast because the position is going to change quickly. King g7, preparing knight c4. So now you have a hint as well. But g5 is hanging, so you have given up the g5 pawn for the c4 pawn. But I guess after, let's say, queen g5 we take on c4, and you cannot support d4 anymore. So actually, black will be better.
True, absolutely, Soumya. And With queen f6, the queen is preparing to go to f4 and target these pawns on the fourth rank. Actually, now already queen f4 looks menacing, no?
Oh yeah. Can he has played knight c8, so he wants to target the d4 pawn. I guess queen e3 can be expected. No, d5. Yeah, d5. Do we need to take? C5 is
No,
also
it's better to keep that bishop closed, I think. I
okay.
also felt c5 was very intuitive because now these pawns get stuck on c4 and d5. And
Hmm.
as you aptly pointed out, the black knight can blockade from d6, prevent the d5 pawn from advancing. In fact, knight d6 right away, the white queen cannot take on c5 because the e5 rook would hang.
Knight b6 was played targeting a4 and c4. Also a very tricky move, I should say. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
what I feel off about this move is that now the knight on e4 feels offside.
yeah, it is in the corner and it can come into some tactics. That's the only thing you need to worry about. H4. Wow.
Yeah, now with the
H4.
knight away from the game, Fabian was really trying to create something like queen f4. Yeah, exactly. Trading off the queen, and the endgame should be safe for black.
Mm-hmm. H4, a very nice move by Fabi there. Queen F4, again a very good move by Arjun. H Queen G4. I don't think Black has much to worry about, but this game with less time can go either way. Like Bishop G2, even Queen D1 is possible.
Yeah, queen d1 is possible. You can also take the pawn on c4, which is a
Oh,
very
yeah.
Arjunish move. And he goes
Can we
for
play
bishop
some
g2.
more? Or it's too risky with Rook D8. Rook E7, allowing Rook E7 would be too risky, right? With Queen E5. Queen D4 on the board. Okay. Oh, so if he takes, we have a passer actually.
Yeah, and the c5 square for the knight. I think
Ah,
this is the kind of situation where Arjun can really take over against Fabiano. But maybe I'm being a bit too simplistic. But let's see how this
hey,
game sets the trend.
but now, yeah, now the C4 pawn is a permanent target after. Oh, yeah, and now A5, A4 is also possible, no?
Yeah, a5, a4 is also possible. He went with the knight to b6 instead of b2 so that the a8 square is covered. The
Ah,
rook cannot come to a8, and this makes a massive difference because this rook is not like you can maybe even go a4 now. It has to be calculated. A4, bishop d7, a3, and this rook on e8 cannot stop that pawn.
wow, that's brilliant. Wow, well spotted, Sri and Arjun. Wow, this rook on E8, it has two moves to get to A5, but it still can't
And
get.
queens with a check.
What a beautiful spot there. Beautiful, beautiful spot. And rook F7, we also have, oh, there is still a perpetual here. We have to be careful. Can we
Yeah, we have to be careful.
get King F8? Yeah. Oh no,
King
there is a
f8 would have
perpetual
been
now.
nice, but now king h7 and queen g7 he's going for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
He,
No,
I think he will play queen g7 now.
no, he took the
Oh,
draw. He took the draw.
oh.
Maybe King G7. He was afraid of some deep on rolling. I don't know what happened there.
No, I think
Oh,
it just probably he was just a bit stuck, having not warmed up. I mean, this is the first game, yeah.
that's true.
And with 10 seconds, I don't know if it happens to these amazing players, but when I get down to a certain time, sometimes I just freeze.
Yeah, it's difficult to put ourselves in their shoes because we have never been. But yeah, I do think this game is still some sort of an achievement because Fabi on the back foot, he is going to feel the pressure now. And he doesn't get into that situation very often. Obviously, he's been world champion challenger and everything, so it does put a lot of pressure. Also, very interesting game again. Let's just go quickly. E4, E5. We missed a lot of moves there. Oh, this is the fried liver attack. What fun! This is so much fun to play. And C6, all of this is well-known theory, but a lot of fun to play both as white and black, I feel. Queen C7, Queen F3, Knight C6, C3, Bishop D4, Queen G3, Knight D4. Wow. Oh my God, this is gorgeous. Chat, can you tell us what happens for CD4 quickly? And white did not take. White played knight a3, and this is the current position on the board.
Yes, and chat, meanwhile, do hit that like button so more people can join in. Let's get those likes past 50 to start with. This variation, Soumya, is something Arjun has used before in a
Oh,
classical game as well. And bishop
oh,
into a3 is not a good move. So Arjun, wow, look at that bar rising there. It's a very tricky position for black to play, even in a classical game. And Arjun earlier played this against Ray Robson in Abu Dhabi. The correct move, the only move against knight a3 is to play knight to e2, which is not something you will be able to figure out in a 5+1. And the line just goes crazy. There are so many crazy lines here. What Fabiano played is straight up a mistake. It's a massive advantage for white.
because here if you take, you would think white cannot take, so knight c2 and knight a1, but we have this nice move c into d4, going towards the center with the pawn, bishop d6, and
Which
knight.
was the point of this move knight a3, as we asked the chat, yeah? Uh,
Huh.
White couldn't take c takes d4 earlier because of queen into c1 check, as pointed out by VSSC Chess. Shout out to him or her. And
So
this
that's
is
why
the
we played knight a3, and now it is possible to take on c4 because we have. So what?
he
Why?
won by resignation. Look at that!
Oh
Wow,
my god! So fast!
I know,
Wow!
right?
We were still explaining the game, trying to understand what happened, and he already won. It's
Yeah,
not.
it just took 15 moves, Soumya.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's possible to really go back to that game. Maybe it's too fast, right?
Yeah, this is the biggest danger when you're with Arjun in anything, Soumya.
Oh.
As mentioned in the player card, his strength is speed.
We do have it, Srinath, thanks to our producer. So knight a3, cd, and bishop d6, knight e4. Black resigned. क्या क्यों resign क्यों किया? Please, can you explain us?
So the f6 knight is attacked with his move knight e4, and
Uh-huh.
if you take knight into e4, then the
Yes.
g4 bishop hangs after queen into g4. Now
Okay.
white is up by an exchange, but also I think one pawn and the second pawn is falling on g7.
Wow.
Also, the compensation for black you might think is development, but white
Mhm.
can remedy it with one move by castling.
Yes. Wow, that explains it really well. And that's why Fabiano chose to resign instead of continuing to play, because you must remember they get only 90 minutes in this format. So let's go back to the game which is going on live. Yes, this one. And yeah, already lots of moves played. We Arjun is black, e4, c5, knight f3, d6, knight of uh, a4, knight f6, knight c3, g6, castle, bishop g7, a5. ये क्या आइडिया है? क्या ये थियरी है? हमें पता नहीं. What's this position?
It's a strategic concept after bishop b5 to get your pawns to a4, a5. So what
Mm-hmm.
this does is it disallows, it kind of breaks black's pawn structure into two, because black will eventually have to play this b pawn to get
He
this
has.
bishop to b7.
Mm-hmm.
And when he does this, it breaks the black's pawn structure into two.
Oh, so yeah, very nice idea. A5, h3, bishop b7, bishop e3, knight b6, queen d2, a4, bishop h6, e5, bishop g7, king g7. They are playing super fast, Shri. Like,
Yeah, I think the e5 move is very instructive. Yeah, when white played bishop h6,
uh-huh.
Arjun understands that the dark square bishop is going to get traded. So he
Mm-hmm.
immediately puts his pawn on the dark square, controlling the center. Now, without the dark squares being exchanged, this might not be the best idea because your g7 bishop gets stuck. But when it gets traded in such a situation, having the pawn on e5 is actually a good optimal setup. And now he
Oh,
opens up his light square bishop with d5.
wow. Yes. Beautiful. Actually, it's so nice. Like, हमें लगता है कि blitz में, ज़्यादा कुछ, it's more of tricks, and it's more of playing fast and all of speed, your speed, all of these things, mouse skills. But it's actually very instructive to see the quality of chess as well. I mean, they have the positional understanding is so deep by both the players.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to sense a lot of little strategic concepts, and there are still some dangers in Black's position though, because the way he has played, all these pawns on e5 and c5 relatively loose. You also have to watch out for this knight g4, queen h6 ideas.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Well pointed out, actually. In fact, right now, after knight g4, uh, what do you think, Chad, can be Black's next move? Um, let's say white plays um, knight g4 here, if it was white to move, and Black played a move like rook to b8. What do you think would be white's next move? We want आंसर्स और जल्दी जल्दी आंसर्स चैट क्योंकि पोजीशन चेंज हो जाती है 1 मिनट में देखो अभी f6 आ गया एंड दैट आइडिया इज नॉट पॉसिबल एनीमोर so very yeah, f6 a very good move, I think, supporting e5 and also preventing the idea which I was hinting at after knight g4. When the pawn was on f7, you take on d5, take and go queen h6 and knight f6 checkmate. But with the pawn on f6, the rook controls the square. So that's not possible.
Yeah, it prevents it. And now I think Black is quite safe. Nice play by Arjun. He's, I think, come out in a good shape. And I like how the initial few minutes have been for Arjun.
Yeah, certainly. Um, I'm actually very impressed also with the quality of play and the speed, both of these two things. And yeah, as we can see on chess.com, Arjun is also higher rated. He's 3092 versus 3045. Not so much of a difference, but still, it's nice to see our boy stronger than being stronger than the world number 6 in a blitz format.
Absolutely. They have also played a bit in over the board blitz. There was this tournament right after Grand Swiss in Riga, and Arjun was such a revelation in the blitz. I think he started with something like 10 out of 10 against very strong opposition, and then he ran into Fabi and he defeated Fabi as well in the first game. Fabiano won the second game, and at that time Arjun was relatively unknown. He was not even 2700 yet.
Wow. How much time do you think these youngsters spend? I mean, you actually know how much time do you think these youngsters spend playing blitz, bullet, and these faster time control chess online while they were improving? Now, I think they have a lot of tournament commitments, so maybe it's not as much. But let's say when they were 15,
yeah, now it has reduced a bit, but back at the time when they were around until the time when they were 2550 2600, it was several hours, sometimes 5-6 hour marathons. I played against Arjun quite a bit myself back in 2019. There was this one time where we played for something like 3 to 4 hours non-stop. We were in the same location and we were playing bullet marathon, and there was a doorbell at one point and Arjun refused to open the door, so I had to go and open the door and I lost that game, and I started tilting, and I was very pissed with Arjun at that time.
That's a hilarious story to tell. Yeah, actually, it's years of practice, I think, not just like few months or something that gets you so good, you know. And I also feel like teenagers tend to play more blitz than, let's say, once you are in your 20s. I don't know why that's the case, but like whenever even on chess.com, if I go and see some kids' profile or a teenager's profile, they have played much more games than an adult player.
I don't know. I think one factor is when you're at your teenage, you can really afford to sit on your computer without distractions.
That's true. That's a good point.
He's won a pawn now. He's
Yeah.
actually, while we were talking, he went about outplaying Fabiano quietly,
Yeah,
and now he's won a pawn.
yeah, he's completely in control, Srinath. Like, just see his position. I mean, it's amazing. Like, if you wouldn't know that white was Fabiano, you would think like, like ये तो एकदम आराम से जीत गया black तो. And only because you know who the white player is, you're like, oh really? Wow. Maybe there is something for white. Maybe there is something for white. You keep looking for. Acha, Queen C3 on the board. Can we play Queen C5 or Queen D6? Just go back with the.
Yeah, Queen D6 is what I was also thinking about. It feels counterintuitive to trade the queen because that would really make white's rooks active. So the queen just goes back to D6. As black, you can just keep things preserved for now. Rook E1 attacking the A4 pawn, but black has rook D3 and the option to trade one of the rook. But rook D3 might run into. Is there knight into C4 now?
Oh, nice move. Can I play rook D1? I'll also try to be tricky.
No, but knight into C4, you can just play queen D5, no?
No, then
no, but
rook
then,
is
yeah, rook
black.
D1. King
But rook
H2?
C8. Yeah, I think this was the point. But
Oh,
does he
Fabiano doesn't look like he's seen this, no? But there's some queen D2, I think.
Oh, Queen D2, nice move. Backward moves are difficult to spot.
Yeah, and the variation still
That
goes
is
on. Queen
still
D2,
better,
knight D2,
yeah.
rook C2.
Because rook C2 in the end. So nice try there by Fabiano, but doesn't really
It
work
goes
out.
into a rook and oh, but now bishop D7 or bishop D3.
Oh, wow, wow, wow. Very important move, bishop D7. Otherwise, black just takes rook A4 and rook F2, and this is holdable. But bishop D7, I think, makes things very difficult.
No, you can also go bishop B3, no?
Bishop B3 as well, yeah, and prevent B3 ideas and take rook B2 after knight D4.
Yeah, but that rook endgame after knight B3, AB3, I'm not really sure if he takes rook F2.
Why?
But this is, I think, the least unpleasant option for Fabiano.
Yes.
This seems like it goes straight into a draw.
Yeah, this is a straight equality.
So Fabiano has defended a really bad position for the second time in this match out of 3 games.
But what
this is just a draw.
Yeah, I don't understand. Oh, the point is G5, but then yeah.
Yeah, no, he's just liquidating towards a draw.
Okay.
Now I think they'll repeat and draw.
Okay. Definitely a missed chance there by Arjun. But so
yeah, and I don't know. Oh, he goes to Petrov this time.
Avoiding fried liver.
Yeah, this game is likely to go past 15 moves.
So bishop F4 or do we just castle? Yeah, castle makes sense. This is supported. You have to tell us the nuances of this opening, Srinath, because I don't play with either side. Is there a
So I think straight up the big difference, Soumya, is the pawns on E5 and D5. So with this white pawn on E5, it gives white a lot of space on the king side area. And this can be useful for an attack initiative on the king side. But this rook E1 is a very curious move because growing up, you would be very discouraged to give up your light square bishop like this. This allows black to play his bishop to f5, take control of the diagonal, and this white bishop on d3 is also a very nice bishop. So I really don't know what Arjun's plays here.
Maybe a3 prevent knight b4. Acha, but now knight b4, rook e2.
Yeah, this feels strategically wrong. Yeah, I mean the way white has played.
Yeah, knight b4 looks annoying at least, but we have bishop e3 in the end, so.
But it also looks like Arjun seems to be knowing what he's doing.
Yeah, maybe he has played a game like this, or he has checked something like this, and at least because he's playing really fast. No, he has consumed some time. C5, a nice move by Black though. A3 will be met with knight D3, right?
Yeah, A3 could potentially be with knight D3 or anything, even the knight going back to C6, just as a illustrative point. It shouldn't really bother Black so much, I think. With this light square bishop, it's very hard for White to get any chances.
Yeah, definitely
This
a
kind of
duel.
departure, sorry.
No, please continue.
No, I mean, this kind of departure from playing this strategically correct chess, it feels a bit dubious to me. It feels a bit unnecessary.
It also feels a bit Laskarish. He used to purposely get into dubious positions and defend, and that was, of course, his big strategy. That is what everyone learned from his games: how to play worse positions and frustrate your opponent. So, but yeah, it's maybe just an experiment, and next game we won't see him doing this. That's also possible.
Yeah, but against the opposition of this class and level, it can go nasty very quickly. They won't give you second chances if it goes bad.
This bishop is too strong, man. I mean, I just feel like if I could go knight h4, knight g6 at some point, but it's a pity that never can do that. Even h4, h5, like I just want some way to get rid of this bishop because it's controlling so many important squares. It's still okay though. We can even go rook d. No, rook d2 would be passive, right? Maybe rook e3 and bishop d2. Or
I
rook.
don't know because on e3 also the rook doesn't
Hmm.
feel so well placed.
A2 is too awkward. With that rooks on A1, what are they doing behind the A3 pawn? Hmm.
Again, this is the thing when you have a strategically bad position. Yeah, your moves don't flow. In the other
Hmm.
games, you saw how easy it was to play for Arjun. He did the right things. He played these moves like e5. He got activity for his bishop, and he was very comfortable. Out here, he's struggling to hold the balance.
So rook e1 played queen d5, bishop b2. I see a funny comment in the chat by Solly. He says in post-game interviews, if asked, Fabi and Arjun will probably reply, "Oh, I saw a game from the Moscow Invitational from 1732 between two 17-year-olds where they played bishop d4 instead of bishop b6 and I improvised." That's quite funny. No, I mean, yeah, we can expect replies on similar lines by, I think, um, like players of our generation or maybe the generation before us. But I think this generation is just checking with the engine, like Stockfish and Leela.
And they check everything: Stockfish, Leela, correspondence games. Of course, the some of the older games as well.
So h4 on the board. Finally, Srinath, he also wants to just play h5 at the cost of this b4 pawn. I like it now. I think it's okay, fine. We can give up the b4 pawn. And we can create something on the king side. It's okay.
But how do you, yeah, against h5 bishop h7, now what?
Bishop c3, maybe just can we do that?
It's possible, but again, I think it's a similar situation where you're a pawn up, but black has, I think, slightly better activity. But now the moves are not as free flowing for Fabiano as it was.
Like we also have like rook b1, b5 ideas, for example.
Right.
So we also, I think we have freed up our position a little bit. Something went our way in between, after these queen d5.
Yeah, after this point, black just didn't find a way to enter through any open lines. Yeah, everything was closed for him.
He had to be a little faster than he was.
So now the play is pretty much in balance. In fact, maybe even a bit better for white because he's the pawn up, but no direct play for either of the sides because of the kind of closed nature of the position. So Fabiano just plays a waiting move with rook fd8, just moving his rook a bit, improving it a bit, and asking white what he wants to do. And this is Arjun's typical pose,
Acha, yes.
The Iceman pose.
And no expression at all. You can never find out what is he feeling from his expressions. Do you or his parents know how he's feeling? We obviously don't, but since you guys know him so well, are you able to understand from his body language?
Yeah, I generally I can sense how he's feeling when I'm watching him live.
That's good to know. And Rook B1. You also actually are very good at poker face, Srinath. Haven't observed you play recently, but I remember all these Commonwealth tournaments and Chennai Open tournaments and Kolkata. Yeah. So you were very good at poker face. And I remember your game against Congwell. You were literally sleeping on the board. And I thought, okay, when I saw you from afar, I thought maybe you're losing. And you looked so upset. Like you just were like completely distraught, your expression. And then I saw the game and you won a fantastic game, all preparation, everything. And I'm like, okay, the moves don't match with the expression here. So
no, that particular tournament I was very unwell. I had some kind of a viral infection.
All right, that explains it. Yeah. Okay.
Well, finally some action there, Soumya, on the board. Fabiano threatened knight a7 and knight b5. So Arjun, under a bit of pressure, he lashes out with e6. We are down to 1 minute each territory, which is still a considerable amount of time. And this bishop on h7 and pawn on d3, a constant thorn in white's position.
But now our bishop has opened up, Srinath, and we can also go to e5 with our knight, and we can even play queen b2 ideas, and maybe even bishop a1 and queen b2 ideas. Yeah, I feel optimistic even now. Maybe objectively not, but practically we have chances.
Yeah, practically there's always a chance, especially with these very alert kids. But I think between two equal people, the position is definitely easier to play as black at the moment. Queen e3 attacking the bishop f8 is a very nice move in time trouble. You just protect the g7 pawn just in case. There's no tactics against it in the future. Arjun, he's blended the e6 pawn. Why did he just gave it up? Knight d2 protected against the d3 pawn.
He didn't take it.
Arjun, yeah, he didn't take it.
It's little, rook e5. And now
queen a2.
Do you think this bishop is going to get into problems? No, he's more concerned about his own king. So he goes back queen d7. He's not bothered about taking white's material. Queen c4, e6. Again, you cannot support it anymore. I like white now. I would take white here.
Yeah. And Fabiano under some pressure now. King f7 is a dangerous move.
Queen b3
in this time situation.
Oh, now it looks so great for white. I mean, whatever the computer says, we don't care. The king cannot move, queen cannot move. We always have knight d6 ideas. Yeah, beautiful. Knight b6. Let's go. Knight d6 also.
Now the pieces are coming in. And Fabiano lashes out against the pressure.
Rook e6. Rook e6. Rook e6, queen d2, rook e8. But
there's knight on c7.
There was a knight on c7. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's the reason. We cannot take on e6, knight d5, knight c4. It's sort of stabilized the position because pieces have been exchanged. And
It's stabilized. The d3 dangerous pawn is gone, and there is pressure on this g7 point. So Fabi is the one under pressure now,
mhm.
and I think Arjun is slightly better here.
Yeah, I love
g4.
the knight on e5. Wow, great move. G4 protecting h5, attacking f5 pawn, b5 pawn judge.
No, he's lost a pawn. He's lost a pawn. It's
Yeah,
crazy random here, Soumya. Just crazily
that's too
random with
random.
10 seconds each.
G2 पे mate हो रही है इसलिए queen d5. We had to exchange. Now we are a pawn down in this endgame, but we can
Takes
still
knight
hold it.
d4
Knight
and we
d4,
get
knight
back the pawn.
d6. Yes, and we can hold this even though the b pawn is dangerous, but with precise play. Okay, bishop g7. We might even
King f7,
get.
knight c5. That's the point.
Oh, nice, nice,
It's a
nice.
draw. It's a draw. It's a draw in the end.
Oh, now it's a draw. Yeah, great game, full of tension. They're still playing, but it will most probably a draw. But maybe for the time they're still playing. Yeah,
Yeah,
because
I think he's just playing for the
it's
time.
also for Arjun, it makes sense because he is in the lead, so he can extend his games and give Fabiano less chances to come back.
It's amazing how fast they immediately start the game. And I don't know what this d4, d6 opening is by Arjun. I'm very surprised to
Arjun is
see.
blind.
This is what Magnus played against Arjun.
This is the modern, and he's yeah. It makes sense to try out an opening which you did not handle very well from white to just see whether you can do it better as black, and if not, then you at least learn what to do with white. So it makes a good. I think it makes a lot of sense. But this is slightly different, no, with G4 also because I remember Magnus. No, Magnus versus was it Prague that he yeah there was only h4 on the board, but this is slightly different on the king side.
Yeah, that was with h4 and h5. This
Hmm.
5g4 is, I think it's not a great line,
Mhm.
at least objectively speaking. The
Mhm.
modern, Soumya, apart from the recent Carlsen Prague games,
Mhm.
it was played a bit in the highest level in the 90s, the late 90s.
Mhm.
And one person who faced a bit of modern at that time was Gary Kasparov, because he was
Mhm.
beating players in literally every opening with white that they tried to play these sidelines. And there is this one very famous game between Gary Kasparov and Veselin Topalov, which was played in Vacancy. And I remember studying those games quite a bit when I was preparing against the modern with in 1e4. And the way white has handled the opening in this game, it just feels totally wrong to me. This kingside pawn structure, g5 and h4, it's just completely blocked. No, normally you want to get h5 with white, so you open the h file. But with h4 and g5, the king side is totally blocked. In the center and the queen side, it's usually black who has a better game. Black has much more space. His pawns are developed. The white king is usually in the queen side. The black king is in the king side.
Mhm.
So this feels white's setup just feels all over the place. This knight on g1 is also not getting developed so easily.
Very nicely explained there, Srinath. So clearly, White is desperate to break open the position and make some breathing room for his bishop. Can we expect him to play e5 or f5 in the future? I think we can. So, do you think Black should castle or Black should wait for White to castle? Oh, no,
Black doesn't need to, I think, he doesn't need to castle right away. He can stay a bit non-committal for the moment with the king in the center. The focus should probably be to target the d4 point, yeah, to open up the center. So there is a lot of pressure on the d4 point at the moment, and one option, yeah, rook c8, indirect
Oh,
pressure on the c2 point. C takes d4 is a threat now.
yes, it could be a very good idea, and provided this rook is supported in the end. Because we will get the queen to d4 in the end after all the exchanges and the rook on h8 will be hanging. Um, that's on the board, all of these. Maybe he wants to just castle, yeah?
Or queen c5.
Queen c5 makes more sense. And yeah, this endgame. So we will get a knight versus bishop endgame with rooks on the board.
But
Um,
I think white has to play a5 here. It's an important.
yes, very
With this
precise.
move,
Can we
actually, the
go on
game.
attack?
We
Sorry, yes.
can, but both the b4 and the a6 pawns become long-term weaknesses now, and rook a4 is also an option. Bishop e2 is also an option. The After bishop e2, the bishop will come to c4, prevent black rook from taking on c2, and
Mhm.
also simultaneously keep an eye on the a6 pawn. So this a5 move is important, and with that move, white, I think, at the very least equalizes, but maybe even has more.
Yeah, very well pointed out, Srinath. Yeah, now that you have shown White's ideas in this position, it is clear that probably it's easier for White to play. But we can keep things defended after knight b8, back to pavilion, but doing the job for now, keeping a6 protected, and we get to castle. Oh, he gives up the pawn. He simply gives it up. Rook a8 and bishop c4, I guess.
Makes sense from his point of view, I think, to give up the pawn.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have just been passive. And now with these trade of everything, the position is again slightly easier to play as black, I think.
Yes, I actually prefer what he played than the move I was suggesting, knight b8. This is so much better. Knight coming to b6 doesn't need to suffer on b8. And maybe d5 as well we can get. And I think it's a good idea to place our pawns on light squares so that they control more squares of the light squared bishop and restrict it. So let's say we play d5 at some point, not now maybe, and white plays e5 and we play e6, we control a lot of squares of this bishop. So that could be an idea in the future.
Absolutely. And for white, the long-term danger, Soumya, is that these pawns on f4 and h4, they can really become weaknesses in the future.
Hmm.
They're a bit overextended, and the knight can go and pick them up, if it goes into an endgame.
And
So the more it goes into the endgame, the better it gets for black. Black wouldn't want to allow white to get his rook on the a5. That's why he has both the rooks on the a5 for the moment. Uh, and that is a challenge for black. How does he improve with these rooks on the a5?
so how about we get d5 in at some point now, maybe now, for now, example.
Looks good
And
to me.
play.
D5 certainly looks good.
But of course there'll be exchanges, but is this okay? Because once we exchange this rook, a b4 pawn will also get weaker, right? And it will come to
Yeah,
b attack our b4 pawn. So
that would probably not be an ideal endgame. Takes knight d5, bishop e4, because the white king is much more active than the black king. So this
hmm,
king can just come to e3, d4, and he goes for d5.
yeah, because
So
it's
let's
very
see.
natural, I think, d5 idea in this position. So let's see what he has in mind. Okay, I think e d5, rook d5 at least can be expected. We don't want to exchange the bishop with the knight. So bishop e4 and rook d1, rook d1. This position we could reach. No, he has just played king e3. He doesn't want to take on d5. So what if e6 now?
f5, I think. When black
Okay,
plays e6, I think white should play f5.
okay, that's a good point because guys, our king is on g6, so हम e4, हाँ, anyway हम e4 मारेंगे तो bishop e4 attacks this rook also, but if this rook was on e8, even then f5 would not be hanging because e4 मारेंगे तो f6 first check आएगा, हमारे king को पीछे ढकेलेंगे white और फिर bishop e4 and then our king is feeling very uncomfortable on f8. So
Yeah,
rook 8.
and in general, I think white should try and get this pawn to f5.
So he has heard you, Srinath. He has got f5. What do we have to counter it? Can we take and take on d1, but then they give f6 check and
Yeah,
restrict king and then take on d1. Yeah, that was the problem. Let's just show that quickly. I know it's a blitz game, but maybe f6 here. Yeah, f6 here, and then bishop 4, take and take. This is something that could have happened, and our king doesn't feel very great because rook d8 mate is threatened. So that's the
yeah.
reason he plays d4. Um, d4 and
Now we see a total dark squares controlled by black. The pawns on d4 and b4 controlling the dark squares, kind of fixing the white pawns on the light squares, e4 and f5, and this knight sitting on e5. It's a
oh,
very strong construction for black, but it's not permanent. Like white rooks can come onto the a file. That's one option, and there are moves like bishop d5 threatening the d4 pawn. So it's a beautiful strategic setup, but concretely, black can face some problems, and the position therefore remains in the balance. Do we have some more moves after knight e5?
yes. f6, e5. Oh, there have been a lot of moves. Let's just go ahead. Bishop d5. What? And c2? Ah, rook d2 will be played. No, rook d4, rook c2, rook d2. Yes, this is the position on the board.
Rook c3, rook d4, rook into b3. Can you take?
Nice spot there.
See, when I see the b3 pawn, I just want it off the board.
So bishop b3, rook d4. Yes, this is actually very good. We are a pawn up. And a beautiful knight.
Yeah, and now we can put our pawn on b3 so as to rub salt on the wound.
Wait. Yeah, because bishop b3 runs into rook e4 and then rook h4 also. White ke sare pawns le lenge hum. So rook g1, good move. Now we have to, but now rook b3. Array, acha,
And now
now,
g5. This
and this
knight on
thing,
e5 will stay, and h4 is also a move to consider. But okay, king f6 is simple enough. But I don't think black has enough to win here. Feels too
yeah,
small.
I think h4 would have been like slightly more accurate because the f pawn is always something that needs to be protected. Maybe just f6. F6.
Yeah, f6, then the king goes to g5, king h6,
Uh,
king g5, and then we
uh,
start pushing the pawns.
uh,
Fab is actually under a bit of pressure.
uh. No, actually, this is a very good chance to win. Yeah, knight f4. Then we
It gets difficult to progress past
progress.
this though.
Oh, we won 2 pawns. Shri, we are
That one,
going
you
to
could
win
see
this.
it from his face.
Oh, this is so great. Knight f3 check now.
Be
Knight f.
careful, Soumya. That's exactly
Oh,
exact stalemate position. So
yes,
Arjun just doesn't put his knight on f3. Knight
yes.
f3, king h1.
Oh,
Instead,
that
he
was
just
good
keeps that
point.
knight on g5 and f4, f3,
Yes,
f2.
yes. Wonderful. And now we just need to get a knight to e2. So maybe king d2 and king e1, and that's it.
And
Oh, brilliant. What a game by Arjun. This has been a class game. This has been a class game. Game
And
aborted.
that's the halfway point, Soumya. It's a 45-minute point of the 5+1 segment. The players will have a bit of break, but it's been 6 games, 5 games so far, and Arjun has been dominating the match, hasn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. What a powerful display by Arjun. Very impressive for everyone watching. Whether you are an Arjun fan before this tournament or not, you must have become one after seeing the way he has played so far in this tournament. Do you think it's a good time to take a break, or should we keep the stream going?
This is a good time to take a break, I think, Soumya. A short little break. But meanwhile, chat, do hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, so more people can tune in. Let's get those likes past 100 at the very least. And we'll be right back.
Absolutely. And do go get something to eat, grab something to eat, because you're not going to get a break for another 45 minutes chat. You have to be glued to the screen. So you also quickly come back after a break. See you. Hello, chat. Welcome back. We are still following the Arjun Erigaisi versus Fabiano Caruana speed chess match. Arjun leads the match right now with 3.5 versus 1.5 against Fabi. Really great chess by Arjun so far. Let's see how it continues. The games have started, Shri. Can we get the board?
Yes, Soumya, the games have begun, and Arjun going for another bit of offbeat opening. Uh, Fabiano sticking to his Petrov, and on the fourth move, Arjun played 4h3 in this four nights, which is a bit of a tricky move. I have faced this myself with black, I think, a few times in these title Tuesday games. But Fabi, I expect him to be aware of this, and this shouldn't really give White a lot from the opening.
So he goes for d5, d5, knight d5. Is this the best way to continue?
This is one of the acceptable ways to continue, and I think I played the. No, that was against 4a3. I faced 4a3 earlier in a title Tuesday game against Wokido. That also d5 is one of the acceptable moves, one of the moves that equalize with black. Against h3 as well, I think d5 is very much okay. And I see in the database that Fabiano himself has played this with white against Maxim Matlupo in August this year.
So he might be a little bit aware at least of what needs to be done with the black pieces.
Yeah, and this is basically this Scotch four knights reverse with 4h3. You're kind of giving up the tempo with white. And after d4, we are in that pretty much the same structure you see in the Scotch four knights, which comes as black.
Our chat what Srinath is talking about. I think you're talking about this.
Knight f6, knight c3.
Oh, first knight c3, okay.
Yeah.
And then
now bishop b4, knight c6, bc6, bishops d3, d5. So this position. Yeah, and if you look at this, yeah, takes, castle. If you look at this and the structure that happened in the game until the first 9 moves, white, it was basically a reverse of it.
Maybe here is this is a better illustration of the structure. Yeah. And what we got is this.
In the game, Arjun, exactly.
Right.
Now, Arjun didn't play d4 in the game. Instead, he played d3. So it didn't quite go in that structure. But this shouldn't really cause black a lot of problems.
H6, bishop c6. Interesting opening choices by Arjun. First of all, it seems like he's playing a new setup in every game. And also very offbeat lines. I wonder what was going on in his head while preparing.
I think he's just trying to get positions that Fabiano hasn't prepared. Just positions where he can get a game and get to play. So far, he's done it really well. Now, Fabi has, I think, two distinct strengths. One is he has a very impressive opening preparation. He knows so much and he comes up with new ideas everywhere. Sometimes even with black. We saw that in the candidates as well. And secondly, he's a very concrete player. So the pattern in this match, I feel that Arjun has been getting these strategically very nice positions, which Fabi is holding with a very concrete approach. But this very concrete approach, it's very calculation based and not optimally suited for the faster formats, in my opinion, which is why I feel Fabiano's style is not optimally suited for the blitz and the rapid, but mainly for the blitz.
That's a very good point there, and yeah, very well explained. In fact, I've heard a former coach of Fabiano describe him as the machine because he calculates like a machine, and you give Fabiano any position to calculate, and he will probably outsmart, at least equal Stockfish in the calculation abilities. So yeah, a good point there, that it's very difficult. There's not much time to calculate till the end in blitz and bullet time controls, and that's the reason Fabi perhaps falls a little bit short in these time controls. So bishop d7, nice move there though. I like this maneuver with the idea to go bishop c6 and put pressure on g2. We must point out that black does have a pair of bishops, but the bishop on d2 at the moment is blocked. It's not. It's um, tied down to defending the c5 pawn. Um, can we take on c5 is a question I have. But
Yeah, Arjun has taken on c5. He
today
has taken on c5, which looks extremely dangerous to me, though, Soumya.
So e4 was played, fe, and d4. This is the position we have on the board. So now both the bishops, this bishop has opened up, but this is still, this has been blocked because of the e4 pawn. But it can always come to e3 and open up this bishop as well. Does look a little dangerous. Bishop g3, again, a very good move by Fabi, playing for the initiative. Rook f1 can be expected, I guess. And rook f1, e3 is very likely here. Yeah, rook f1, e3, d5, bishop f2. That's the live position we have. Do we simply take it?
It's very, very possible. Yeah, you can take it because that would lead to an exchange down position, but with the opposite color bishops. And in that opposite color bishop position, this white bishop on d4 will be very well placed. So Arjun, in fact, goes for it. He takes, and after takes, he just plays king h2 for the moment. In positions where there is a rook against a minor piece, the rooks are very much benefited by open files. And in this position, the black rook has an open file on e8, but it cannot get to f8 because the bishop on c5 is controlling it. So with a5, he tries to break open the b file as well. So this rook can come to b2 and create pressure on the c2 pawn. Arjun doesn't want to remove the knight from b3, so he just blocks it with a4 for the moment. And now rook to e5, trying to double the rooks. So although it was a interesting exchange sacrifice, I think black is clearly in the driver's seat.
Yes, and it seems like black's position is slightly easier to play. Usually, when you give a material advantage to your opponent, you get some initiative. You know, that's what you've been taught, at least in chess. That when we give a piece sacrifice or a pawn or an exchange, we get some initiative. But here we gave an exchange, but opponent still has the initiative. So probably not such a great position still. But yeah, I think Arjun is managing well. Queen d2, abhi knight a5 big threat hai. I think Fabi has to play for the initiative because anyway you cannot support the a5 pawn. So maybe like I don't know, like there are so many options here that black has, and that is maybe black's problem also, that he has some moves options here like rook f8, rook g5. Yeah, he has gone for that, but there's no precise way to continue. So it's easy to go wrong as well as black.
Yeah, important thing is the f2 square is covered by the d4 bishop. So the entry points are covered to a certain extent. And this prevents black from having that killer blow. White also has these 2 pawns compensation. He takes the a5 pawn, which creates a passed pawn on the a file. So Arjun's basically telling Fabi that you better find a way to finish me off, but if you don't, I'm going to queen my pawn. So this is the pressure that Fabi's under.
Queen g3.
Rook queen G5 is coming to g3.
Bishop h3. Oh. Now bishop h3 is possible, right?
Yeah, bishop h3 is a dangerous threat, and it will come even if the king is on h1, because then the rook comes to f3, and there are these 4 pieces, 3 heavy pieces looking at Arjun's king with full focus. Arjun's pieces, on the other hand, they are almost like they're on a holiday, And while they're on an holiday, the opposing force has come to invade, and there's just not enough time to bring them back.
Yeah, knight on a5, rook on a1, like not at all participating in the defense of the king, which feels so under such a great attack. Rook g6, bishop h3 coming in. You really can't defend it. Actually, can you go king h1 here and uh, hope that you can, but then take queen g3. So c5, good move there. Queen g3 will anyway be played. Uh, what do we do next? Knight c6,
Knight
another
e7 check.
Yes, it's a good move. Bishop h3, knight e7. I
No,
like
but
knight.
can you play knight e7 check? Oh, okay.
No, queen knight c6. This was black to move.
Oh,
So
yeah. Sorry.
rook e8. He has prevented knight e7 check. Now bishop is attacked, but we can play bishop f4. Sorry, not bishop f2, because that would blunder mate on g2. But bishop f4 and
It
attack the
has
queen.
been played, yeah.
Yeah, fantastic defense there by Arjun. Very alert, I must say. And can we play king h2? Yes, he has played that. So rook e2, queen f4 is possible, but I think not much. Bishop c6 taken, take. Rook c6 is possible. King h8, yeah, rook c6 was.
And now
Maybe.
bishop into c7 maybe.
Oh, this is
Bishop
great
d6.
for white. Wow, what a bishop. What a crown in white's position. a5. This is going to be Arjun's game. I feel like this is going so great, and I have
But
loved
now
the
a5, rook g3 and bishop e5.
Oh, beautiful spot there, Shri. Yes,
He's won
Fabiano.
on time.
Oh, time! Wow! But also on the position. I mean, I'm sure he could have converted it. Anyway, next game has begun. Fantastic game by Arjun Erigaisi. Beautiful. In fact, he was on the back foot and he defended it so well and got this great game. French defense there by Arjun. Arjun showing each and every opening today. Anyone who's new to chess can simply follow this match and learn what are the different openings possible in chess, I think.
Yeah, and he's literally playing all these openings that Magnus played recently, Soumya. It's amazing, yeah. Like Magnus is such an inspiration to this generation on how to play chess. So first he played the modern, and he did he win that game? He won that game, yeah. He played the modern and he defeated Fabiano, and now he played the French, which was played by Magnus against Anish recently, and it's the kind of opening where white will get like something like plus 0.5, 0.6 out of the opening, but that's not where it maybe the numbers that the engine shows has absolutely no relevance in this format.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I mean, it's not so easy to simply go and play some opening, like you need to understand at least like so many small nuances. I agree that you don't need to prepare too much for a blitz game, but at least a small nuances where to place your pieces. For example, in the French, the queen on a4, very nice idea, typical French idea to prevent moves like dc5 and also attack c2. So these nuances you really need to have seen a lot of games and played a little bit as well to play it against Fabi in such a high stake match.
The French defense is actually a childhood opening of Arjun. It's also a childhood opening of Nihal's.
Oh, nice. And I have a question, Srinath. Is Magnus Arjun's favorite chess player?
I think so. I mean, maybe he hasn't gone out and stated it out anywhere, or maybe he has. I don't know. But the way he talks about him, the way he looks at him, yeah, it certainly feels like he's his favorite player. And why not? Magnus is literally showing Arjun how to play chess, even at this point.
Yeah, that very I mean, I can yeah, this is another thing. Like Magnus is going to play in the speed chess championship, Fabiano is playing, and this generation of Arjun, Gukesh, Nihal, they have actually grown up studying these players games. Our generation grew up studying maybe Kasparov, Topalov, Anand, while these guys have grown up studying their games, and now to face them so early in their career, it's a fantastic achievement.
Yeah, the first tournament where I went as Arjun's coach, that was World Under 16 Olympiad for the Indian team.
Mm-hmm.
That was during the time when the Carlsen Caruana match was going on.
All right.
And in our team, I was the only person supporting Magnus.
So Arjun was also in the team, huh?
Yeah, Arjun was also in the
And
team.
he was
They all
supporting
wanted,
Fabiano.
yeah, they all wanted Fabiano to win because they had gotten bored of Magnus being the world champion and they wanted a change.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, that happened this year, but not quite the way we wanted it. But yeah, I was the only one supporting Magnus because I felt that the best player in the world should be the world champion, and Magnus has been that for more than 10 years now.
Mm-hmm. But it's interesting because also we saw some that Arjun was supporting Fabi in the World Championship challenge, and also we saw some high words of praise by Fabi for Arjun. We will definitely show that slide in the next break, because Blitz में उतना time नहीं है कि हम if we change this theme, guys, this game might just end. So let's wait for the break, and we'll have a look at that slide. Knight d5 on the board. What, yeah, I like this for black as well. I mean, pawn islands a4 and c3 being weak. b6 is happily defended by the knight on d5. I think c4 must be played. You give up the
C4,
a4
there's
pawn.
rook into A4 somewhere.
Oh yeah, that's true. I missed that. So
But
c4 rook.
rook D4 maybe then.
Oh, that's a good trap actually, which I did not foresee. Rook a4 and rook d4. And we are actually attacking the d3 knight. And now the d4 rook is also supported by the e2 knight. So the d5 knight is also hanging. This is a very nice trick. Um, let's just show it to the chat. Right now, d5 knight is not be captured because we lose the exchange. But with the rook on d4, both of these knights will be hanging, and knight b4 might be the only move. Yeah, and it's a little complicated after that. So c4 knight f6 was played instead, which is a I think a better move. After rook b6, we can always take rook a4, and c4 is still hanging.
Fabiano wants to keep that pawn. He's trying to create some chances. Once again, we see a position where those knights were beautiful, but with some concrete play. Fabiano creating some dynamic chances on the board. That bishop will go to e1. The one deadly weapon against the knights is the outside a passer. The knights are very allergic to the a passer because it's not so easy to defend against the a passer with the knight. A part of the board on the other side is taken away. So this is Fabiano's weapon. But on the other hand, it's far away from that endgame, and these knights still have a very large role to play.
Yeah, I love these pair of knights. I mean, everyone keeps talking about pair of bishops, but sometimes pair of knights are so difficult to deal against. I remember this wonderful mate by Gary Kasparov. I forget who was his opponent, but there was this mate with the king on h1. The knights got to f2 and f3 and check rook on g5 and checkmated the king. So yeah, that was a beautiful model game on how to use the knights. Anyway, so let's come back. Rook c6 on the board. And bishop, yeah, for now, just playing the role of a defender.
Yes, for now, the bishop is dormant. Chat, talking about the pair of knights, can you remember a game earlier this year where one of the Indian grandmasters beautifully mated with just two knights? Let's see if anyone in the chat remembers this game. Who was it against?
Oh my God, Srinath, we need some clues at least. I also want to participate in this contest.
So this was before the Olympiad, and there was a beautiful rook sacrifice in that game. And in the end, it was two knights against one pawn, and this Indian grandmaster mated with two knights.
Two knights against one pawn. I remember one game, but I don't remember the rook sacrifice. But I do remember one game where it was two knights versus one pawn. So I have one answer ready. Let's see what the chat thinks.
Anshika remembers it. Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
This was also my answer. Nice.
Yes.
क्या chat
She,
है यार हमारी, क्या memory है. Oh my god. They are dedicated chess fans, okay? If they remember this, like this is too much to remember. Wow.
yeah, it's a pity that chess is not part of the syllabus for NEET for Anshika.
She was really missing this. The past few times, like she has been in the chat for the past few streams, but you have not been. And so nobody's really trolled her on the NEET. Oh God. Um, Yeah, fantastic. It was Hari's game against Parham Maqsoodlu. I think in the ECC, was it? It was in
Prague
one.
Mask. It
Prague
was in
Mask.
Prague. Yeah.
Rook B1 on the board.
See, this despite losing a pawn, this a pawn still remains, and as long as this pawn remains, black has to contend against a dangerous weapon.
Yes, actually, today in the World Team Championship, I think one of our players, it was Shashi, who beat the fourth board player, Tigran
Tigran
Gharamian,
Garamian.
in the first round of the quarterfinals, and with the bishop versus knight endgame with the A passer. Yeah. So that was a very game to basically explain exactly what Shri was talking about. But in this game, the A pawn is gone, and so have all our worries as black. We don't need to worry about anything now. It's a completely equal end game, even though, of course, everyone prefers to have the knight in the same side pawn end game. Because the knight can attack pawns of any color, whereas the bishop can only attack pawns of its own color. Still, this is a completely equal.
There is also a 1 minute lead on time, Soumya. Fabi is down to playing with less than 10 seconds. These kind of situations, Arjun turns very nasty. He'll make these unpleasant moves and put clock pressure on you. I used to so hate him when he did that to me. But when I saw the other best players in the world also suffering from that, misery loves company.
Why do you think he's keeping the king on c4 so that it can get to d3 at some point, right? Oh no,
yeah, it just keeps. But he kind of draw it away.
So
knight g4 and e3 is a dangerous threat.
Oh, that was a cool threat actually, but we cannot show it because they have already gone ahead. So maybe
so many moves.
Yeah. Why didn't he play rook b5 check? Okay, king c4. I think rook b5 had to be played. But now can we have some chances after knight d3? No. He'll just take.
It's possible. Knight, king d3 and get the king to d2.
But rook b3. That was the problem, I think.
Sorry, which is the problem?
Rook b3 check?
Yeah, the king then stays on d2. So this position with king d3, king e3, it can turn a bit dangerous for white. It's a very easy draw, but sometimes this king can get to e2 and create some chances. But Fab is very, very much up to it. In the time Arjun spent deciding to go for this, I think he's calculated it out. And this is the position where I thought there might be some risk. But with that king on g2 and rook a2 check the long side, the side checks, he's not really in any danger. He just drives the king all the way back. If the king goes back to e5, then the e-pawn is not really as dangerous anymore. And this should be a draw.
Yeah. So this is still a draw, guys. Let's see how this game is a draw because they're going to play it till the end. Yes. And that's how you draw this pawn game. Fantastic. Let's move on. c4. New opening once more by Arjun Erigaisi in this match. c4, e5, d3. The English opening, but d3 not the most common way to play? Bishop
Sicilian
d.
reverse, yeah.
So he's playing very unusual openings, like you pointed out, but different ones in each game. So he must have prepared a lot. That at least that's the impression I get by following this match so far.
Yeah, in general, he prepares a lot. Um,
Okay.
in general, he just spends a lot of time on just preparing for the games, preparing for the tournament. I think that is definitely one of his assets. But what I've also noticed as far as this match is concerned, he's been very smart with his preparation. It feels like he's absorbed all these losses he had against Magnus recently, and now he's kind of showing it to his opponent.
Yeah, that's the like most important part, right? Like you actually learn from your mistakes. It's not enough to just make them. It's great to make mistakes, I think, as long as you learn from them. Otherwise, you simply regret them for the rest of your life.
Absolutely, and also that's I think one of the best returns you can get from playing against a stronger player.
Yes.
You learn how to defeat people when you lose.
Hmm. Uh, I have a question, Srinath. Since this game, okay, my phone doesn't seem to stop making a noise. Sorry about that. Yes. Uh, I have a question, Srinath. Is Arjun the type of player who prepares a lot before the game, or he prepare? I mean, as well, or he relies on his home preparation? Because
No, he
there are a
prepares
lot
a
of.
lot before the game,
Oh,
and I think that's something common between a lot of young players.
really? Because I've heard a lot of stories about a few players who don't prepare at all, and especially of the Gen Z players, So that's why I was very curious to know. So I think there is a mix. Um, like,
Yeah, true. There certainly is a mix. For example, Gukesh, I've heard he doesn't prepare so much. Uh, he prepares something like 1.5 hours or 2 hours before the game, and that's it.
mm,
So everyone has their own approach, but the one difference is they can afford to prepare a lot before the game and still have energy during the game.
mm.
That's something as you grow older, you just don't have that option at all.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very noticeable change that you sense as a player as you're getting older. You cannot afford to sleep at whatever time you want and play a very good game the next day. And
Yeah,
there are.
also there is a limit on how much new information you can take in as you grow older, I think. Uh, you need time to absorb and digest information when you get older, but when you're younger, you're able to take in new information faster.
Like
And sometimes you
organic.
just don't understand it at that depth, but you still somehow remember it very well. If you have just even seen it once, the retention of memory is also better when you're younger.
Yeah, that is a very good point. Like organically, you tend to understand that thing. You might not able to verbalize what you have understood, but somehow you have understood it. You know? And while we were talking, this position seems to have gotten very bad for white. Fabiano has just cruised through on the queen side, broken up all of white's pawn structure, and rook on b3, bishop on a6, knight on d4. Even the queen and rook are not yet participating. These three pieces are causing havoc in white's position for now. I mean,
Absolutely, Soumya.
E1 पे होता तो भी bishop f1 आ सकते थे, but somehow white's pieces are so tangled up that some of his material, like it's impossible to save material right now.
I think this is going to be Fabi's first win in this match. This game feels like it. It's the first time where Arjun has got such a big disadvantage on the board, and this feels impossible to come back from because this knight on d4 is so incredibly strong against the bishop on g2. There's a massive strategic deficit.
I did not understand why didn't we take here and play knight c4? Was it a like some very easy? blunder. Maybe queen b7.
Just bishop c4, yeah?
Or even bishop c4, right? Bishop c4 and queen b7.
Yeah. Long term, this knight on d4 is just so powerful against the bishop on g2.
Brilliant knight. That is where you want to place your knight, chat. Like as from the first move, like place it in the center, and that's he's got what he's wanted. Bishop d3, rook b3, rook b3, rook d1 played, queen b7, king
Queen
g1.
b7.
Oh, this is difficult for sure.
Yeah, this is difficult, but Arjun will, I think, try to hold on for as long as he possibly can. With 7 minutes to go, this is the penultimate game in this phase.
Oh, black won. Arjun resigned. I think he was done with this, and he probably also. Yeah, I mean the g4 pawn was hanging. It's okay. It's an understandable decision. He's black now, so let's switch the board. Sorry, let's switch the board to black side.
Dragon.
Wow, this is going to be so much fun. We don't get to see a lot of Sicilian dragon in chess these days. D5, E5, knight D5. All of this is theory, chat. Bishop D4, very old theory, in fact. But topical, knight A4. Okay, I don't know much about this long castle line. Knight C5, rook D8. Please guide us, Shri. Do you know where the theory ends and the game begins?
I think they are still in the known territory, Soumya. This knight a4 is a move which forces. So you see, in the queen side, black has these pawns on c6 and e7, the disconnected pawns. So if white can go into an endgame with these two pawns, it's a clear strategic advantage. So with knight a4, white threatens, white kind of wants to go into the endgame, but force black to take queen into d4. Because if white takes queen into b6, it would allow black to take a takes b6 and improve his pawn structure.
Right.
So,
so you want
white goes knight a4 to get into this favorable endgame. Black, of course, respectfully declines the offer, takes the queen back. And now the play is pretty much in the middle game, but it's focused on the center because that's where all the pieces are, that's where all the control is. So he gets this bishop onto c4, controlling the center. Black responds with bishop f5, developing the piece, controlling the center. And I think now rook e1 was played, right?
Yes,
okay, started with bishop b3.
Yes, sorry. Bishop f5, bishop b3, knight b6, queen e3, rook d1, queen into h2 was taken, g4, knight d5, queen d4, e5. So black is actually...
Yeah, you can see Arjun is still in his preparation, it seems.
Yeah, he has 4 minutes, 51 seconds opposed to 3.43 for Fabiano. Queen d2. Actually, I'm going to call him Fabiano, like Hikaru calls him. You know, he loves to repeat his name. Like whenever he's talking about Fabiano, he keeps saying Fabiano. And I'm like, okay, is it Fabiano or is it Fabiano? You know? It's so much fun. So queen d2, rook d2, bishop e6, rook e2. And e5 being attacked actually. So it's equal only because white will pick up the e5 pawn for sure. You cannot support it with f6 because we cannot play f6 here. Let's go.
This might be too easy for the chat.
Yeah, but I just maybe the ones who don't participate often, आप शायद बता सकते हैं हमको f6 पर क्या हो रहा है chat. क्यों हम e5 pawn को support नहीं कर सकते. So king g7 was played instead.
Yeah, kind of inviting white to take on e5, so the king can go to f6 and become active. But white has this intermezzo. Instead of taking the pawn on e5 directly, he can start with g5, which is, I think, a very nice strategic move.
Fantastic chat. So Rajkumar, Emmanuel, Raj Anand, Vijay Kumar Palasya, Solly just making jokes there, Sankara Narayanan, Debashish Kalita, all of you, and Sahil Gupta, Anshika, everyone got it. F6, को knight e6 bishop hang हो रहा था और इसीलिए thanks a lot for participating chat. I know that some of you, I can see that some of you are in the chat for the first time. I'm reading your names for the first time, so it's very nice to see you participating, and you got it right. King g7, and Srinath, as Srinath pointed out, white did play g5 first. I think just making like taking control of all these squares, and then he'll take e5. Nice.
Meanwhile, chat, once again, do hit that like button. Let's get it past 200. There are more than 200 people watching right now. So if you're that, do hit that like button, mark your presence, and let's get more and more people to come in support of Arjun. He will need all of it today. It's 5-3 in favor of Arjun, but Fabiano exerting pressure so far in this game.
Yes, and this is so much fun to watch. We don't want people to miss this, so do press the like button so that people, लोगों को पता तो चलना चाहिए कि हमारी स्ट्रीम चल रही है, अर्जुन खेल रहे हैं फैबियानो के साथ और शायद जीत भी रहे हैं. तो definitely we want more people to support Arjun. G5 on the board and Arjun taking his first deep think in a blitz game. Bishop f5. Because he can afford to do so, chat. Let me add that. उन्होंने बहुत ही फास्ट खेल दिया अब तक, तो अभी उनके पास बहुत सारा टाइम रह गया. Bishop f5 on the board. Bishop d5 cd. Rook e5. Rook d8. Supporting this pawn. Yeah, this is a little better for white. No, this endgame. How would you assess it?
Yeah, if only white can have this hedge pass or Soumya, then once again it would be very powerful. Like if this pawn was on h5 and there's no unperson, then black would actually be better. But with this move g5, that was a very powerful strategic move. This option went out of the window, and white can create a passed pawn on the queen side. He has one pawn more, so he can make moves like c3, b4. That rook could have come to e7. Arjun prevents it with king f8, but he can't play f6 anymore. So white is just dominating on this side, and we are about to run out of time in this 5+1 portion. So this will definitely be the last game. Fabiano would very much want to try and finish it out with a win. That will be very useful for his momentum. Arjun plays the pawn to f6. He can support it with king f7 if black had taken the pawn. But Fabiano plays rook e3 because he wants to maintain this pawn on g5.
Yeah, I think f6.
Gf6, rook into f6 probably, or just h5.
Oh yeah, h5. No, actually, yeah, h5 was possible. Anyway, let's go. No, they have not played any moves. Okay. Gf6, h5, yeah? Yeah, h5 was a good idea. h4, h3, and just scaring white. And we can pick up the f6 pawn anytime. So rook e3, good move actually. Not bothering to move the g5 pawn. The g5 pawn is an asset. White doesn't want to give it up. Rook b6, a3, d4. Again, rook b6 very important move here, no? Because white was threatening rook a3. So after a3, you take up this a3 square for the rook and you play d4 here. Very alert. Rook e1 on the board. Rook e1 on the board. Srinath, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yes. This is like a classical game. You know, they both are taking these deep things in between and coming up with really good moves. But yeah, would you? Yeah, he played a5. I was going to ask you if we can do that. c3 on the board. So again, we will go into an endgame where white will have a queenside passer, like one pawn. This pawn will be exchanged for this one, and this will be exchanged for this one. So white will be left with a b pawn. In a knight versus bishop and rook endgame. How do you look at this endgame, Srinath?
It's an unpleasant defense. It's a very unpleasant defense. And generally, when Arjun's time goes down, it probably means the position is bad, because otherwise he would keep up the tempo. Now, one possible defense for black is to try and trade that g5 pawn with something like h6, so that one pair of pawns are traded, and the other pawn, black can sacrifice the bishop, and a position with rook knight against the rook, it's comfortably holdable for someone like Arjun. So he gives up the head-turn pawn, and I think he will go after the, or maybe he'll probably just maintain this position. The bishop on f5 protects the g6 pawn. It also controls the c5 pawn, and he will use the king and the rook to prevent the b pawn from advancing, or activate his rook, and the king will defend the b pawn.
Yeah, very good idea by Arjun to give up the h7 pawn and activate his king. Otherwise, his king would have been stuck on f8 after rook a7. So, rook a8 on the board at the cost of a pawn, he has managed to activate all of the rest of his pieces. His rook on a8, king on d6, and bishop on f5 already doing a good job. King c4, maybe rook a1, yeah. And b5 will be met with, okay, I won't show it to chat. Chat, please. Again, tell us, what do you think? B5 तो क्या करेगा black?
Yeah. Meanwhile, I see that Anshika has a bit of a BT hearing the bell, but the bell was indicative of the 5+1 portion ending.
Oh, there was a bell. I didn't hear it.
Yeah, I also didn't hear it, but the chat did.
Oh,
People
okay.
did.
Okay. All right.
Yes,
So
that
rook
was it.
b1, rook
Yeah, a
a.
lot of chat finding the right move there, yeah.
Yeah, chat, like that's great. Kunal Gupta, Sankara Narayanan, Soli Farhan, Rajkumar Emmanuel, once again with the right move. Chris Keynes, I think by mistake he has written rook c8, but rook c1, I get it. Arini A, yes, all of you are right over there. Rook c1, Atab. Sorry, let's just go back to that position.
Our chat is the best.
Would have been met with rook c1, and you would have lost the c5 knight. That's why he didn't go that. Okay, let's go to the live position now. That's great chat. Awesome. Kishan Kushawa as well. Rook f2, rook g4, rook d2.
Yeah.
Sorry, rook d4, rook f2.
One pawn has been traded, Soumya, and I think the worst is past. This b5 pawn, worst case scenario, black can even give up the bishop and remove that pawn. So king to e3, the bishop comes to e4, and from that diagonal, this bishop will protect the pawn from going to b7. If white tries to cover it with knight d5, then white will lose the. Now g5, g4. Let's start advancing. There's a danger that Fabi might lose this.
Oh my god, yes. I also feel that Fabi is going to lose.
He's lost on time.
Oh. So Arjun,
he's lost on time.
6-3. I mean, it's a pity for Fabi, but we are supporting Arjun here. So 6-3 for Arjun. Let's go. And at the end of 5+1, right? So now they start the 3+2 blitz, right?
Yeah, 3+1. They start the title Tuesday time control.
Oh, it's 3+1. Yes, it's 3+1. I'm sorry. So 60 minutes of 3+1 blitz game now. But yeah, that's fantastic. What a turnaround by Arjun, actually. Okay, we have some time till the next game starts. So let's just look what happened here. Rook f4. Like white had it under control until here. And then he gave up the g5 pawn somehow. Now there is no way to defend the g5 pawn. So black just took it. And then he had to come back with the knight at some point. But he can't really. I mean, there's just no way for the knight to come back. So he played rook b4. It's actually difficult, once you leave the g4 pawn hanging, g5 pawn hanging.
Yeah, I could sense a shift in the momentum, and after king e3, bishop e4, rook h2, when the g pawn started advancing, the momentum was actually changing. It started getting very scary for white. And I guess once again, Fabiano just started, he just froze completely. This can happen, I think, to any human being. You just freeze completely because you're just overwhelmed. There's so much happening, so many unexpected things happening. you're just not prepared for it, and there's just not enough time to make a response uh, for your system.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he had 0.4 seconds here actually, Srinath. So yeah, I think he was just shocked that, oh my God, now even black can win this. That realization dawned upon him. And while that thought was still going on and being processed, suddenly the time was over. Because yeah, like these faster time controls, they can just like your time can get over just like that. But great win for Arjun. Do we have a short break here for the players, or how does it go?
Yes, I think we have a 6 minute break in between the segments. So after 5+1, there's going to be a short break, and we yeah.
So maybe it's a good time to show that picture we were discussing. The slide of Fabiano's wonderful words of praise for Arjun. Producer जी, क्या हम वो सीन ला सकते हैं स्क्रीन पर?
Which was actually not such a long time ago. It happened in a podcast quite recently, in the C Squared podcast, which is hosted by Fabiano Caruana, the one C, and Grandmaster Chirila, the other C, done by the C Squared podcast. Yeah, there we have it.
Oh, that's so nice. Please do the honors, Shri. Please read out what Fabi has to say about your student.
So, which Indian junior is most likely to reach 2800 has been the question. Has been one of the most asked question in recent times, and Fabiano's answer was that if I had to pick one, maybe it would be Erigaisi, because his chess is incredible. He's shown his constant level and incremental improvement. This was
Wow.
Fabiano's words, and we have seen a lot of that incredible chess in this match so far. 9 games have happened, and I think there has only been one game where Fabiano had a realistic chance of winning. He took that opportunity. He managed to win that game. That was the eighth game. Aside from that, it hasn't even been more than +1 for Fabi in any of the games, I think.
Yeah, and that defense of Arjun in that game, that four knights game, where he defended the position with the bishops on c6 and d6, looking at white's king, and then he simply took the pawn on a5, and we were talking about how the rook on a1 and knight on a5 are not participating, but he defended so accurately. I think that also deserves a lot of credit because. mm it shows that I mean it's kind of frustrating for a player to get a good position and you feel like yeah now your opponent is going to collapse and he doesn't. He keeps fighting and he actually turns the game around. So yeah, that was a great moment as well for me.
Absolutely.
uh, by the way guys, we have a fun question for you for a diamond membership. uh, and it's a really fun question. So please try and participate in the chat, and you might win a 1 month diamond membership if you get this question. If you get the answer right, the question is, which is Arjun Erigaisi's favorite movie of all time? I think if you have seen any of Arjun's interviews, at least language तो मुझे लगता है easy है guess करना वो movie का. I also don't know the answer, so it's going to be a surprise for me also. So please send your answers in the chat, and we'll take a small 2 minute break. No, I think we have the players ready, so let's keep the stream going, no?
Absolutely. And chat, if you want to answer better for more such questions. Now, Arjun is going to be a player you're going to be seeing at the top for a long time. So if you want to get better at such answers, then do give Arjun a follow on his Instagram. That's where he shares all these stories of his favorite movies, songs, his favorite artists and stuff. So I'm pasting the link in the chat. Go out to Instagram and give Arjun a follow. Let him see at least 50 more followers at the end of this match today.
Yeah, definitely, Chad. And also go and like that superb dance reel he's made with Abhimanyu. It's so jazzy and funky. You'll love it. You're going to really, I think this is a good time to go and watch that reel also. Like, if by the time the game starts, you would have watched that reel and come back and you can tell everyone else in the chat how awesome it is. So, yes, do go and follow Arjun.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I also find his account quite entertaining.
I also liked one more post of his where he shared a old greeting card given to him by Ritvik Raja, who is his best friend, like childhood best friend, and Ritvik has written, "Oh, I am so happy to have you as my friend. Happy Friendship Day." So sweet.
Absolutely.
It's very.
Ritvik and Arjun, they go back a long way. I think they started playing chess together at a very young age, and their friendship continues to this day.
Oh, this is very sweet. Ritvik Raja, also a grandmaster, by the way, from Telangana. Are they from the same city, Srinath?
Yeah, I think originally they were from the same city. I don't exactly remember. Arjun was in a smaller place back in that time.
Mm.
I think so. Then Arjun lives in Warangal now, and Ritvik lives in Hyderabad. But Arjun spent a few days at Ritvik's place just before, sometime earlier this month, just before the Champion Chess Tour. So they uh, they they live quite close by.
It's very nice. By the way,
Wow, no
chat.
one's got the answer right yet.
Yeah, nobody's got it right. So we will give you a clue. It is a Telugu movie, and the game has started. So let's focus. But you can keep guessing, but also let's we will keep commenting. So uh,
Absolutely.
this is 3 plus 1 now. Let us remind the chat 3 plus 1 games only for the next 1 hour. So let's see how many games they get in. Arjun is white in this game.
Yeah. So that's 9 games in the 5+1 portion, and it's a very pleasing start for Arjun because 5+1 was the portion where it felt like Fabi's best chances lay. Arjun has completely dominated that portion, but Arjun came up with a lot of interesting and fresh approach in the opening in the 5+1. He can't do that forever. Even he will have a limit. So let's see what his approach is for the 3+1 portion. Bishop e5 is not a move that is liked by the computer because it preferred b4 to
Oh,
prevent c5.
C5, which was what black played on the next move actually.
Yeah,
So
this would have killed the b7 bishop. And with c5, it helps black liberate the position.
that's a great point. Actually, the bishop is stuck behind all of his pawns, and unless he gets e5 break, the bishop will forever be stuck. Yeah, before very nice and strategic concept there shown by Srinath. Bishop e5, c5, dc5, bishop c5, rook a d1, queen e7, bishop f6, knight f6. Okay, e4, e4, and h6. This is the current position on the board. I have a question for you, Srinath. How many games do you think they are going to play, like approximately?
So 3+1 with 60 minutes, I think it will see around 9 games, similar to the 5+1, 8 to 9 games. But 9 games is, I think, the average. Uh, so, yeah, I expect 9 games to happen.
Okay. So the first bracket for the chat, for everyone in the chat who's joined us just now, the first bracket was 5 minutes plus 1 second games for 90 minutes, and Arjun is now leading Fabiano 6-3, and we have just started the 3+1 segment and it will go on for another 60 minutes. So they have already played 9 games so far. 6-3 is the score, and we are expecting approximately 9 more games in 3+1 now.
Yeah, and this game has started out well for Fabi. The break would have certainly helped him get away from tilt. It would have given him time to stabilize his emotions. And he has his two bishops on a7 and b7. They're like snipers. And as Soumya pointed out with her arrows, black with f6 is aiming to open up the position with e5 next.
Yeah, absolutely. This will be deadly if both of them open up. We need something against this plan. We cannot allow black to get everything that he wants. Yeah, queen f6 on the board. Oh my
It
God.
feels like the question that we asked was too difficult. Yeah, people are just not.
It is a movie I've never heard of as well, actually, because I don't watch Telugu movies. So unless it's in the news or something, I wouldn't have known of it. So I'll just tell the answer because nobody's gotten it right. So I'll just tell the answer and we'll ask another question maybe for the
Maybe we should have a target before we give away the answer. Something
Okay.
like yeah. Let's do a movie. Arjun's favorite movie reveal at 250 likes.
Okay, let's do that. And we will also give you a hint, guys, right now. So you still have a chance to get the what? Game is over. Oh my God. What happened there? We were
He
discussing
blended a
music and
piece.
the game was over. I don't know. Sorry, guys. Let's just um no sorry, I'll get the live game. Yeah. Okay, guys.
Yeah.
It's time to focus. D4, D5. I'll just show quickly the opening moves. D4, D5, C4, C6, Slav defense. By Fabi. E3, Bishop F5, Knight C3, E6. You know, I have also played this line against Arjun in a practice game. Bishop G6, Queen E3, Queen C7, Bishop D2, Bishop E7, Knight G6, HG, CD5, CD5, Castle, Knight C6, King B1, A6, Rook C1, Knight D7, Bishop D3, Rook C8, H4, B5. Why is the bar so much in white's favor?
Oh no, he's blended Knight B5.
Oh, that's why.
But is this a blender?
Wait, that's what I'm thinking. What's happening? Is this like some sort of a opening trap?
It's a known concept for sure. Fabiano has I think quite a bit of experience. I remember his game against Donchenko with the black pieces, I think, but he's played this quite a bit with white as well. And it's a very complex opening for both sides, but I think slightly riskier for black to play here, especially in this time control. With Rook C1, there is immense pressure on in the live position. With Rook C1, there is immense pressure on the C6 point, and black has no way to defend it.
So, yeah, white was going to double. So, Rook C2, Rook H4 he took. You know, the computer says Queen D7 is the only move here. And I don't know what does he have in mind. I think he wants to play castle, but then Queen A4. He wants to meet with Queen A7. Oh, this is a very good point. Because Bishop C6, Knight C6, Rook C6, we can't take because the Queen on A4 will be hanging. And if White takes Queen A7 first, Knight A7 not only takes the Knight away from the attack, but also supports the C8 Rook. This is very deep and it's something that you actually need to know in your preparation. Otherwise, it's difficult to find it, at least in a blitz game. So, Rook C2, Rook H4, Rook H7, Queen D7 was played, Queen A4. And now we cannot play Queen A7 anymore, chat. Can you tell us why? Why Queen A7 in this position would be a blunder, but in this position it wasn't? Almost the same position. There is a slight difference. And what is it? Queen a4, rook h2, bishop c6, knight c6. अच्छा, अभी 2 pawns गया हमारा. ये तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो गया.
It's not just those 2 pawns, Soumya, but also this black
King,
king is super vulnerable.
बिशप b4, ये बहुत ही मतलब प्रिजन में कैद हो गया हमारा किंग एक्चुअली अभी. कांट, आई थिंक क्या खेलेंगे अभी, रुक c6 ही खेलना पड़ेगा क्या? Oh, this is so difficult now. This is just an opening error, but yeah, that's how chess works, guys. Sometimes you
Actually,
just
rook
need.
g1 is a idea here.
Rooks are not connected, everyone is saying. No, actually, the difference, guys, is something else. Just look at this position here, queen on a7. I'll again show you. Queen into a7, knight a7, rook c8. Yeah, rooks are not connected, you're right. But there is another reason why it's a blunder. Whereas with the rook on h4, rook at c1, queen d7, queen a4, queen a7 here is not possible because the king position is different, guys. So queen into a7 यहाँ पे आ जाएगा because the king is still on e8 and this knight is pinned by the bishop. Knight a7 possibly नहीं है. That's why when you castle, you not only connect the rooks, but you also take the king away from that diagonal, and queen a7 idea is possible. Very deep concept. Anyway, let's go back. Sorry. Here, bishop b4 we left it, and rook c6 khaya Arjun ne. Rook c6 e5. This is what he's played, Shri. Oh, queen f5. I don't know. Just some breathing.
No, I think it's just a desperate move.
Hmm.
But after king b3, the king is perfectly safe. Rook e2 attacking the e3 pawn. Bishop c5 defends it. And Arjun probably has to resign in a few moves here. He's just trying to prolong the game.
Not
Running
resign.
away with the king now with king f8. But yeah, that's one very nice plan. White can even trade the queen and win the game here if he wants to keep it simple. Now rook d6 should win, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is going. This is Fabi must be at least happy कि चलो he's won one game and very क्या बोलते हैं, emphatically. So ठीक है, not much is lost. We are still leading, but Fabi has come back. 5 points हो गए अभी Fabi के to 6. We need to be. He has won the first 2 games of the 3+1 section. क्या?
Yes, he's won the first 2 games, so the momentum is on his side. And the good thing about having such streaks is that you don't get any breaks between games midway. So, like for example, when Fabi lost, he had time to get a break, but here Arjun won't get any time to get a break, and that's how tilt sets in. So it's a dangerous phase for Arjun, and Fabi has reversed the momentum. He's come back into the match. It's 6-5. And Arjun really needs to stem the blood flow here.
You keep speaking about tilt, Shri. Can you please explain it to our chat who's new to chess?
So tilt basically happens when it's a I don't know how to call it. It could be a state of mind where you're not at your optimal shape anymore. You start reacting in a very primal way, instead of reacting with your prefrontal cortex, you start reacting with your limbic system. You're not uh, you're not using the best parts of your brain anymore, and it usually sets in when you start losing a series of games. You lose one game, you feel bad, then you really want to hit back. You lose that second game, and from third game onwards, you face a mix of emotions. It's a mix of trying to hit back desperately but feeling too hopeless to uh, play your best and be able to do it. So you start playing worse than how you normally play, and your opponent, who's feeding off the momentum with consecutive wins, they start playing pretty good chess. You start playing suboptimally, and the winning streak keeps improving. This game, for example, Arjun started with his h4 g4. So far, Arjun had been playing in a very disciplined way, strategically correct way, but here he just didn't castle. He didn't develop properly. He went with this h4 g4, and Black has a good development. He has this knight on b4, which is an outpost. His pieces are well placed. Arjun has no attack, and he's completely better. So the way he played is an example of tilt.
That's a little unfortunate ending to your explanation, which was fantastic, but the last words, thoda. Yeah, I just hope that Arjun recovers from this soon. If he can, draw this game also, now his tilt will be over. Like
Yeah.
Minus position hai na, so if he can hold this, it will give him confidence once more. So that needs to happen.
Absolutely, anything to break the momentum. It usually starts with a bit of anger. You start feeling angry at how things are going. Then I think you go through a mix of emotions, stage by stage. Something like I don't know how to map it out, but it's not just in chess. It's prevalent in other esports. It's prevalent in poker as well. Oh, nice.
I just thought to show that. Rook b1, queen d4 played? What?
Yeah,
Oh,
because knight c2 check.
oh, yes. So bishop at 7, king at 7, and queen d4. And guys, yeah, Srinath did say it. Knight c2 would be, unfortunately, the Greek gift would be accepted in this case. And with
Yeah,
full.
and Arjun missed it. You could visibly see that reaction. Fabi calmly drinking some water, and Arjun bowing down his head. He's like, "Oh my God, what did I do?"
3 pawns, 2 pawns, Shri. This is a big advantage for black. I mean, come on, Arjun, go and get some orange juice, maybe. I don't know. But the problem is the next game starts immediately, yeah? Or is there a break now?
Yeah, the next game starts immediately. So the next break would be at the 30-minute point, the halfway mark of the 3+1. And that game was such a quick game, but Arjun needs to shake it off and try and come back. But Fabi seems to be in a much better space of mind since the resumption. And since the earlier game was very quick, I think we might even see 10 games in this segment. The 3+1 is going to be on for a bit longer. But the good thing is the opponent is also suspect to tilt. It can happen to anyone. So if Arjun can get a few wins going, then he can play the Uno reverse card.
Yeah, and actually, I really like the French advance for black. So I'm quite happy, like, because I feel like it's easier to play as black. I don't know if it's better or worse, but I just feel like black's plans are flowing, whereas white needs to calculate b3, whether to break, whether to play h6 or not. And in blitz, I feel like it's like easier to play as black, but he's allowed h6. Usually, we there is also a possibility to not allow it, but this is also a concept to just allow it and play.
Yeah, and I don't see anything wrong with it. He's just white offered a pawn, black just accepted it, and
Get this square, no, like that's the reason I usually myself prefer to avoid it. Is it okay to give this square?
I think it's
Oh.
okay because the knight, even if it comes to f6, it can be met with bishop e7. It's not causing such a It's not causing such damage at the moment. Yeah, knight f6 played, bishop e7, I expect, which was a.
He wants to
Oh, he
save
goes
that
bishop
bishop
a4.
also, and c2 and f, so that then it will become a good bishop. On e8 it wasn't so great, but once we activate that bishop we are very happy. So maybe bishop e7 now, but then bishop h6. Can we just play bishops? Now knight d5 is not a threat, yeah. Because this pawn is pinned, guys, so we have to look out for knight d5 ideas, but we are supporting it with both the pieces. So right now it's not a problem. Can we play bishop c2? Oh, he plays knight b3. So he wants to take. But now we can never play bishop c2 on the other hand, even though we got that c1 bishop for the knight, and now h6 is not hanging. That was the point, that he didn't want to give the h6 pawn, and that's why he takes the bishop first and then develops his bishop. Uh, so now you can actually take f6 anytime you want. You can also play knight d7 and knight f6 and pick up the pawn. So that's why he plays queen h5. Yeah, knight d7 was the threat. So he plays queen h5, comes out of the pin, but the pawn is lost. Knight e5. Even though in French, yeah, like there's always like a problem with back pawn structure that black has. But okay, we are two pawns up, right?
Yeah, we are 2 pawns up. Arjun bouncing back by doing what he does best, grabbing pawns. And he's not only 2 pawns up, but white doesn't have any immediate way to seek activity as compensation. Now,
Right. Because queen on e7 is not supported, so he supports it. Very alert, yeah. That too we must give it to both the players. f5. This is a brilliant game. Like, I don't know whose favor it is going to go to. I hope Arjun, but both the sides have played really well so far.
absolutely. In terms of position, Arjun's looks nice, but now he faces some problems with f5. White is trying to open up the h3 c8 diagonal. He's getting this bishop onto f5, and king d8 already. It feels like black is in a tangle. It feels Arjun's position feels so uncomfortable.
Yeah, it does. And I mean, it is the kind of position Fabiano loves to play. He loves to play with initiative. He loves to play for an attack. What happens? You just give up the exchange, of course. You must.
Yeah, you just give up the exchange, but not on your terms. And black's pawns are all weak and all over the place. So certainly not Arjun's intention. And he's not able to get this bishop into
But
the game as well.
we can come back bishop c2 anytime. Now is the time. Yes, we can do it.
Yeah, I think with king f2 he gets a bit of time to do it.
And just go here. Like, we have our ideas. Okay, but white will always play rook g1. That's true. Bishop c2 on the board. Rook h6 will. Oh, what happened there? Bishop c2. He played rook f6. He did not play rook h5. I was expecting rook
Yeah,
h5.
no, rook h5 can get dangerous though. Your rook can get stuck on h6 after
Yes,
bishop g5.
you are absolutely right here. I thought h5, but then king f8 here. Yes. And your rook gets stuck. Oh, but even this
Yeah.
is
Hg and gf7.
e6. This is the problem. Anyway, this was fun. Rook f6 was played. H5. We save our pawn. Rook g1. He wants to enter rook g7 and take this pawn, all our pawns. King f8, preventing rook g7. Rook g5. Bishop g6. Everything is defended, but we are afraid of move like e6 also. Okay, so at some point. Oh, now the king just comes and picks up this pawn. Okay. This could be progress, or it couldn't.
Wow, this is such an incredible turnaround in the match.
Fabiano, right? Yeah, very impressive. But do you think I have a feeling that maybe this could also hold? It's difficult, but it's possible, no? Or no?
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible. I certainly wouldn't rule it out. There's also some cute mates possible for black if white king goes to b5 after b6 check.
Okay, so let's show it. Let's just make some moves. Rook f1, b6. Here, but b4 पे हमेशा possible है. Okay, let's just show mating ideas.
Yeah,
Okay, guys.
just bishop e8 and e5.
Yes, beautiful checkmate. With king b7, we were controlling the a6 square also. This was possible, but of course, this not did not happen. So, king d4, kings. Instead, what was played was that he went back king d4, b6, king e3, king d7, a4. Oh, let's just go. Let's just go really fast because game is going too fast.
Yeah, white has broken through.
Yes. Now, oh, this is so much pressure on Arjun. Come on, Arjun, come on. You got this. Drink a glass of cocoa. But you don't, yeah, you don't get to do that. Just motivate yourself, self talk.
I think he just needs a break.
I think, yeah, I think he just needs to calm down, but it's difficult to do that when you're in this situation.
Yeah, because it's a very biological change that's happening when you get hit with so many losses.
Yeah.
And it's not possible to go back. It's not possible to change your state by like a switch.
Yeah, definitely. And chess is very, very psychological, guys. जो भी board पे हो रहा है उससे ज्यादा important है यहाँ पे क्या हो रहा है आप क्या feel कर रहे हो, how's your willpower going, how's your how are your nerves going, all of these things matter so much. So yeah, I really hope that Arjun can just get a draw in, you know, the Russian method, the age-old method that when you have lost two in a row, just take a draw in the third game. uh, which is the Russian school of thought. And I think it would make a lot of sense to just make a draw here, get control of your nerves, and come back. Even though you're white, it's okay. Just
Yeah, I think
equalize.
that's what he's trying to do here, Soumya. In this game, he's played very in a very mellow way. In Petrov, he just traded out everything. I think he's happy with the draw. But now he might be in with a slight edge.
Oh yeah, because the c7, d5 pawns. I mean, our bishop is suddenly happy.
Yeah. Also, to follow up on your thought there, the thing is, it becomes difficult to even make a draw when you're having these constant losses,
Yes.
even with the white pieces.
Yes, but I mean, yeah, like this kind of game, you know, like where you are just keeping control of the all the squares, keeping your position together, pawns on c3, d4. If you get the chance, you go for the win, or else you take the draw.
Absolutely. Makes a lot of sense. This approach would have been much better than the Jabava London he played in the previous game. And now Arjun wins the d5 pawn. Fabi will regain it with queen e1 check and queen into f2. But white has one tempo more, so he can use it. Queen e5 check and play something like b4. It's important to take control of this diagonal with queen e5 check because it prevents black from playing any queen f4 check and get this perpetual. On the other side, Arjun can even take queen c7 because that will create the dangerous d passer, which is relatively well advanced. It's on d4, and with that queen on c7, it is well supported with d6 and d8 as well.
Yeah, I really like this plan. Like, you know, first we take c7, then we come, when we play d5, then we come back queen e5 so that f4 square remains under control. And then we put d6 and d7. So queen b2, yeah, of course, but black is busy collecting pawns. Let's just quietly checkmate, quietly make a queen without him noticing.
Yeah, that would be such a nice thing. But the thing is, whenever white plays the pawn to d6, then black will play queen f4 check. That is black's defensive strategy.
Yes, guys, if any new people have just joined our stream, do like the stream at 250 likes. We will announce what is Arjun Erigaisi's favorite movie, and also announce a new question for the diamond membership. So let's get the likes going.
Indeed. and we don't have a lot of time. In just about 2 minutes, there's going to be a break. I think Arjun will be. It will be good if Arjun can prolong this game till he gets that break, because regardless of what happens in this game, whether he gets a draw or not, it would still be good for Arjun to get up, drink some water, just walk a bit. Uh, Also, we saw in some of the recent matches how much the heartbeat is linked with chess, and the higher your heartbeat goes, I think the worse your moves get. So, the more you're in that fight or flight zone, once again, he's trying to create some chances here with the
Yeah.
white pieces, but it
What
can turn
happened?
dangerous
Why did
because
he play? Why did he play a5? Now queen f4 check is a real threat because a4, a3. Please take the draw, Arjun, now. I don't
yeah,
want
he
you to
wanted to
play
create the
a4.
pass pawn on the c file, but black also has an a passer, and this king e8 is a very nice move, ensuring that the black king stays within the white pawns
Yeah.
if queen f4 check happens. So now I think they are going to have a perpetual, and if they do have that, we will have one more game before the break, which is a good thing for Fabiano.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, it makes sense now to just play queen b7. And by the way, how does the break work? It's 11:53. So isn't the break at 12 a.m.?
So the times can get a bit here and there, yeah, because sometimes the timer runs out, but the game continues for like 5 more minutes. So the break happens at the halfway mark, at the 30-minute mark. It's a 60-minute segment, and if I could communicate with Arjun, I would ask him to not make a move, but I'm not allowed to do that. And
He did. But the game has
wait,
been
where is
aborted.
Fabiano going? Oh, so they have a break anyway.
Yes, they have a break anyway. That's nice and very good result there for Arjun. I must say, getting a draw in and keeping the position together and also break, much needed break. Do you want to also take a small break and communicate with him, or how does it work, Shri?
Yeah, I don't think I'll communicate with them, but I'm sure up for a small break. But I think we have 250 likes, so we should announce the.
We do? Oh, okay,
Yes.
let's go. So I need to just check the name once again because I've never heard of this movie, guys. So Arjun Erigaisi's favorite movie is Nanaku Premato. Nanaku Premato. I think I love. Huh? It's an NTR movie. I think it might
Yeah,
mean
junior
I have
NTR.
love or I am in love. Oh no.
Yeah, so meanwhile, France has hit back in the World Teams quarterfinals against India. So now it's going down to a blitz tie break. And before we head out to the break, you can also follow the tie breaks, which is just about to happen right now.
Yeah, so we are actually. Yes, there is a link in the chat, guys, for the tie breaks. We are streaming it parallelly on chess.com India. Please go and watch it. We will be right back in a couple of minutes and resume the SEC broadcast. Enjoy. Hi guys, welcome back. And the games have started. Abhi 3 minutes and 1 second increment section ही चल रहा है. Right now the score is 7.5 to 6.5. 7.5 in Fabi's favor. This is Arjun playing black here. So let's flip the board. Let's just quickly go through the opening moves. Srinath, again a Slav
So
defense.
Arjun sticking to Slav defense, which he has been sticking to quite a lot in recent times, Soumya. And it has worked reasonably well for him. But this time he goes for a more semi-Slav approach with e6, d5, c6, which is once again is structure of familiarity. And it looks like the position that he has got out of the opening into the middle game, it's actually quite promising for black.
This f5 move, it's a very like I've always wondered, is it good for black? What are the positions when it's good for black to play f5 and d5 together, and when is it not okay to do that?
If I had to put it in very simple terms, if white can exploit the weakness on e5, then it's bad. But here e5 is so well controlled by black that it's only beneficial for black. He strengthens the e4 square. He builds up a lot of space on the king side. And with queen b3, is bishop into a5 a threat?
Oh, very alert Arjun. Also, he went back rook a8. अरे, title Tuesday खेलने का कमाल है ये, like spotting that very fast. Rook a8, bishop c3, a4. Queen c2 can be expected. I am loving this for black. Yeah, black is dictating all the terms in this game. Arjun seems to have done something. Did you have a small chat with him, Srinath?
No, he I don't think he checks his phone in between the match.
That's actually true. Yes, it doesn't make any sense to check your phone during a match. That's true. But yeah, he must have taken some control of his nerves, and yeah, Arjun we know is back. I hope.
I think he's back. You can already feel the difference in this game.
Yes.
And
nice.
Fabi is also not having a great start here. Now the a3 pawn is hanging. So if after takes, he goes rook a3 right away. Okay, I thought he might wait with b5. Now a3 pawn is lost, but white will potentially get back some counterplay on the e5 square.
Yeah, guys, rook b6 चल नहीं रहा था because c3 bishop is doubly attacked with our rook and our knight. Let's not miss our beautiful knight on e4 having all the fun. Rook a3, bishop a3, and bishop a1. Oh my god. Bishop a1, bishop d6, knight e5. Okay, finally, the knight has come to c5. So, e5. And now c5 on the board. You cannot take. Why can't we take dc5 chat?
Chat is learning a lot today.
I think our questions are more for the ones who don't usually interact in the chat. I mean, I feel so. I really want them to like tell us what they think. Bishop e4, fe4, queen b3. And now this pawn was hanging, so we play queen c7, and e4 pawn is not hanging, even though this pawn is pinned, because our knight on f6 protects it. So rook b1.
Yeah, yes, rook b1 and rook a8, protecting the b6 pawn indirectly by attacking the a1 bishop.
Yes, fantastic. And also a lot of people in the chat got it right. Kaustubh Gole, Rajesh Manghani, Aishwarya D, and Sagar Jain. c5, it is not possible to take the pawn on e5 because the knight is doubly attacked with our bishop and queen. So we would be a piece up for 2 pawns, which was fantastic. So yes, great guys. Superb. Nice to know that you all are paying attention and also interacting with us. It really feels really very good when you guys interact in the chat. Rook a8, knight e2, c4, queen b2, rook a5. So you want to play b5 here and push these pawns and just scare white. Knight c3, bishop c6, controlling b5, knight c3. So bishop c6, we want to push b5 anyway, and queen d2. This is the live position. Abhi,
Yeah, now you have to be careful. Yeah, if you play b5, it can turn out to be a blunder.
but हमारा queen तो support कर रहा है ना श्री, तो why is it a blunder?
Should I say, or is it for the chat?
Maybe chat can guess. Yes, tell us chat what happens for b5. ये थोड़ा एक small combination देखना पड़ेगा आपको. b5, why is it a blunder here, chat?
There is still some technicalities for Arjun to solve in the conversion of this position, and also it can be difficult to get that win going after a series of losses. Soumya,
Yes. It's a huge confidence boost, Sri. This I can tell by personal experience also. I mean, all of us have been there where we've had tournaments, we have had streaks, let's just put it that way, where nothing seems to be going our way. And to get that one win in, even if it's a lucky win, especially if it's a lucky win, you feel really good because you feel like luck is also on your side now. So, but and a well played win, of course, you feel really proud of yourself. So I really hope.
yeah, and now the pawn is coming to b4.
Mm-hmm.
Is it all? Yeah, it's already winning. B into c3 comes with the tempo. So what? Okay. Maybe I miscalculated. I thought B into c3 just wins a piece there, but it doesn't.
Queen a2 was the problem. Oh, let's just go because the game is going very fast. Yes, knight c6, Rajesh Mangani ji and Rohit Singh. You got that right. Knight c6 aa raha tha, queen into c6 and the knight to d5 jump. But let's just stick to this game right now, live position, because ये बहुत fast जा रही है.
Yeah, I think we are about to. We are in the critical phase, Soumya. These two pawns, absolute monsters. But Fabi has managed to construct a temporary blockade, and this is a completely winning position. But with less than 10 seconds each, White still has some chances to save this.
Achha.
Bishop d7 at the height of h5, going after the White's king. He gives up the b3 pawn, but he wants to play h5 and checkmate.
Checkmate. Yeah. Oh, they're still fighting. Queen e2.
Yeah, queen e2 is a very strong move. It takes out a lot of possible checks from White, and now this queen on g1 is also stuck.
100% mate होने वाली है White पे. I feel like this game is going to end in checkmate, Srinath. Bishop e6. Queen h.
Yeah, I just want it to happen quickly. Queen, just 3 seconds for Arjun there.
Can't allow
Queen
this.
g8 check.
Queen f7.
Oh, this has
what
this is
happened?
not totally in Arjun's control.
This might this has been, yeah, this was completely unexpected turnaround and must hurt Arjun. But come on, Arjun, come on. You played really well the last game. And let's just focus on the positives. Bishop f4, e6, e3, b6, knight d2, bishop b7, c3, c5, knight gf3, bishop e7, bishop d3 on the board. h4. Okay. Arjun again back to his attacking mode, but I hope it works out for him in this game. We need to
d6. Yeah, that's the hope.
Rook d1. So what does he want to do with the king? Maybe castle, yeah? But then you've played h4. Knight e4. Knight e4. Here knight d4 will run into knight f6 check. So these kind of tactics never work. Knight e4. What a strange move.
This feels a much better version than earlier attack that he had. Although the draw would still be hurting him. I think it would still not put him in a tilt. And in this position, White has some dangerous attacks on the head-7 point.
Yeah, actually, if he doesn't exchange this knight now, we can go bishop g5 also, and we can go bishop g3 also, and go with the knight to g5. So he plays h6, but h6 can be used as a hook in the future.
Potentially, yes, it can be. It can be
Can
used
can we
favorably
even play
for.
queen e4 here and g6 and queen e3, and like, is this possible?
It would work well, Soumya. Knight f6, bishop f6, queen e4, but I'm not entirely sure if.
Oh,
Oh,
I
rook
love
h3.
this
Wow.
idea. Very, very, very pretty. I remember a very nice game of Judith, even though the king was on c1 and not in that position. But rook h3 idea is so beautiful. Yes. Oh, this is a very nice
Absolutely.
position he's got out of the opening. Whatever the engine says, I mean, oh, actually, engine does give a plus for white. So, but
True.
knight 3, knight h5, maybe, yeah. Knight h5.
Meanwhile, we have some good news from Israel, Soumya.
Oh,
India has won the tiebreak match.
oh, wow, wow. That's amazing news. We have won the tiebreaks against France, and we go through to the semis of the World Team Championship. That's huge. That's huge. Actually, if we win the semis, we are assured of at least a silver medal.
Absolutely, and I think even by going to the semis, we are assured of a bronze medal. I'm not sure,
No,
but
no, there is a
that's.
bronze. There is a playoff for bronze medal.
Oh, okay,
There is a
okay,
playoff.
okay.
Yes. Uh, but yeah, I mean, we have a good chance of winning the tournament itself. And oh, what a good news from Israel. Thank you, Shri.
Absolutely, and apologies, I was quite distracted by the games the last few seconds, but I'm back here now.
Oh, you've been multitasking. That's cool. So, D5 is possible. Yes, yes. Let's go. Let's take this, and we will give up this pawn. But then we get this exchange, right? Knight f5, bishop f5, pawn into bishop g6. So he plays knight e4 to block the bishop from coming to b6, g6. Now we need to play knight d4 here, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the only move.
Yeah.
But also a scary move because the knight on f3 was shielding the king from the queen.
Yeah. G6
And
possibility. At least this is protected, so it's okay.
yeah, it's protected, of course. Otherwise, it would be very bad. It's
Uh,
protected and that saves the white. The position is crazy complex. I think that's a good thing for white here.
yeah, definitely. We are threatening. What are we threatening here, chat? What are we going to play as white? We have a lot of threats. What will you play here as white? Tell us.
Yeah, I almost shouted it out, KT style.
Queen
Queen
h5.
h5, rook f4.
Oh, rook f4, nice move. King g1. Yeah, I also thought of king g1 only, but I like your rook h4 suggestion. Queen h4, we don't mind. Yeah, I think rook h3 is queen trap.
Yeah,
Nice.
is the queen trapped?
Yes,
Queen
yes.
d8.
Oh, yeah, it does go to d8. But then we
But
take
I thought
it.
same idea with rook f4.
Oh, that's also possible. Yes. Srinath very alert. So anyway, he played king h8, bishop d7. What? Okay.
Where is
Rook
the
f5.
bishop going and
What's the
why?
idea? I think he wants to play rook f5, but then he'll take.
No, but that just wrecks the coordination.
Yeah, you know, understand.
Knight
Maybe.
c6 is possible, no?
Knight c6.
But why did he go rook e5, Fabiano? Why not rook e7? I don't know. But
Can
this
you?
feels like Fabiano has missed.
Oh, now
Oh,
he's just
knight f6. Very
playing.
nice. Very,
Yeah.
very strong.
But can we not move our rook or something? Or it is bad. Bishop e4, that's the problem.
Yeah. This is very strong comeback by Fabi in this game. So Arjun retaliates with rook f6. Good practical idea. Now rook d7 is incoming, and Fabi has like 12 seconds remaining.
Hmm. H4 is hanging on the next move. How do we continue?
No, I think we don't mind that.
So we play rook
But
e1, rook e3, rook h3 maybe.
yeah, something like that. Because if you defend h4 in whichever way, it would weaken.
He doesn't want to allow rook g8. That's why he plays bishop e6.
But this is getting dangerous for Arjun now.
Take queen h4 will be played for sure. Or bishop e4 was also possible actually. अभी भी bishop e4 possible है. नहीं फिर queen e2 आता है, right? Bishop on
Bishop
c4,
c4,
wait.
queen g4, strong move by the looks of it. Queen
Again
f2
queen.
now.
Okay,
Queen
queen
f2, nice one.
Rook
And
h6. Oops. King g7. Yes. Okay.
yeah, it's still not over, but Black's king
Yes.
is very exposed. Queen d2 with the
Oh,
idea of queen d6, and
checkmate.
Fabi is losing
This is
after such a
checkmate.
long time. Yeah, queen d6 and rook
Oh,
g7.
this is kudos. Fantastic. Oh,
Oh my
such an
god, how
important.
long has it been?
Yes, still a really long time, and it's such an important victory. He must have breathed a sigh of relief there, and so have we. D4, D5, C4, E6, Knight F3, Knight F6, and Tarash.
Yeah, a semi-Tarash which has gone into Queen's Gambit accepted.
Bishop E7. A3 castle. Bishop F4. Okay, normal position.
Yep, a normal QGA position. And it's actually nice for Black here because he's got a very ideal isolated queen pawn situation compared to uh, how it can get. And now the momentum has turned a bit towards Arjun's side. He should try and look to cash in on it as much as he can.
Definitely. And Anshika asks, is it the first win for Arjun in 3+1? Yes, it was the first win for Arjun in this segment. And yeah, everyone is very relieved to see that happening. Queen h3, यहाँ पे checkmate ना हो जाए. Yes, g6, important move, preventing this checkmate. Also, it was sort of forced.
Now
So,
there are some dangerous looking pieces in the king side, but black with his knight on c4, he was threatening knight into b2. So white, if he allowed that, he would lose a lot on this side. He removes the knight on c4 with bishop into c4. B takes c4, and now I expect the attack quite a bit because there's no light square bishop, and there will also be potential pressure on the b2 point. Something like rook b8, rook b3 comes to mind. Bishop g5 also a nice move, trading that bishop as well.
yeah, very nice move. And
see, now Arjun is back to how he normally plays. Yeah, when he's feeling good, he plays these nice strategic moves. His position is just flows.
yeah, you are right. Yes, actually, it's very like if you know player's style, it's very it's probably easier to understand what are the emotions going through him at that moment. Like why is he making certain moves?
Yeah, and there is just so much variance in how we play, in a stretch of 3 hours or 4 hours. It's impossible for, I think, anyone to play at the maximum intensity throughout. There's always a bit of inconsistency, a variance, highs and lows. And I think the trick is to optimize it to the best possible extent, your highs, and to prepare on how to mitigate the damage when you're going through some lows.
This idea that I'm showing should not be played, guys. Like that's the reason I'm showing it, because this is not something we want, and then it just becomes very bad for us. So, but he did play queen b8. Okay. Rook b3. I hope cb3 will be played, right?
Yeah. Yeah. He's also
Yeah.
listened to you.
CB3 and rook c8 is also not possible because queen f7. Okay, so guys, see, it's not possible to not only play at optimal level but also commentate at optimal level for 3 hours. I think you make such silly mistakes, and then yeah, I actually do agree, Sri. Continuing on what you were saying, it's also interesting. Like we see some games of certain players who have played very badly in that game, and if we have seen only that game, then we think that player plays so badly. But it might be that one game where he was already on a tilt. You know, he probably lost the penultimate round and lost all chances for a medal, and was completely distraught and became very desperate in the last round. And then that's exactly the only game we see, and we may form an impression about the player. So yeah, all these emotions, they play such a big role.
Wow, you are incredibly specific there, Soumya. Was that like a personal
Completely
experience?
personal. It's completely personal.
Meanwhile, people in the chat asking about the next diamond membership
Oh
question.
yeah, we should ask them. अच्छा 280 likes हो गया, अरे वाह, मस्त. So guys, 300 पे भी लेके जाना likes, okay? ऐसा मत करना कि चलो diamond membership में question आ गया तो इधर ही रखते हैं. Let's increase the likes. Okay. The next question is, what is Arjun's favorite non-chess activity? Yeah, I think this is also a fun question and very difficult to answer, but you can guess. Many of you are around Arjun's age group, so you might be able to guess it. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult. A5, rook f2.
It's not that difficult, huh?
It's not that difficult. I think, like, especially this generation will be able to guess. It wouldn't be an answer I would guess, for example, but I think a lot of kids of Arjun's age group have that as their main interest. Knight d3, watch movies, table tennis, cricket, badminton, football, dancing. That's a good answer.
How come no one in the chat is coming up with what they're doing right now?
No, one person did. I saw one answer. Watching series. Doctor's son, maybe he likes reading books. You please copy and paste this and send this to Arjun, Srinath. Does he read books?
Doctor's son.
I really seriously doubt it.
Yeah, actually he reads a bit. But it's not like he's won a pawn, by the way, Soumya.
Yes.
The game is going towards Arjun's way. He's won a piece. Rook d1 and he's won a piece. Queen e1 check. Yes. He's won the game.
Nice. He's won the game. Fantastic. While we were busy answering diamond membership questions, Arjun Erigaisi takes the second win in a row in the 3+1 format. Fantastic. Oh, and again we see the Jobawa London, but this time maybe it goes in our favor. Let's wait and watch. Guys, you've come up with some really cool answers. I see boxing. I mean, that's awesome. And hula hooping is also very cool. And sleeping, also very nice answer there. YouTube suffering. Okay, buffering maybe he means, but okay, suffering.
SNB is quite far away though. Maybe they mean suffering. Maybe that's their personal experience right now.
And then bike riding, very, very cool answers, guys. But I'll tell you, the one who has got it right, only one person got it right, and so you get the diamond membership of 1 month on chess.com. Please email Rakesh Bhai with it, and your username is AGVG. The answer is video games. That's right. His favorite non-chess activity is to play video games. I'm not very surprised to find out. Congratulations, AGVG. I hope आप आपके chess.com मेंबरशिप का पूरा फायदा उठाएंगे, बहुत सारे गेम्स खेलेंगे, लेसन्स करेंगे एंड पजल रशेस भी.
Yes, and analysis of more than one game per day.
Oh, wow. Yes. That's just, I think that analysis thing is actually very good. I use it very often to analyze my.
Yeah. After listening to Srinath sir, I started to listen to Hotel California. That was a good song.
After
Oh,
listening,
you're not in that stream?
no.
I'll send you the clip.
Okay. Okay. Some
The
fun
game
music.
has clarified into a bit of an endgame, meanwhile,
Mm-hmm.
where white seems to be having a slightly better pawn structure.
Mm-hmm. This one, you mean? And also
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, and also black's double pawns on e6 and e4, which and now can you just take and play some b4 or something,
Yes.
or maybe just take and play knight c4.
Yeah, I like knight c4 also. Yeah. Both the suggestions are good, no? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are looking at rook d queen d7, rook d7, and knight c4, activating our knight, threatening knight b6, preventing e5, and next move we also play b4.
He's just gone king e2.
e2, अच्छा.
Slow and steady. He's just milking his better pawn structure.
बस c5 नहीं मर रहा क्या?
I think that pawn is inevitably lost because
Why?
b4 would
Why
have been met.
couldn't save it with b4?
I think
If
b4 was met with a5.
uh, and bishop f6
b5
also.
and then move the
You know,
knight. Yeah. Bishop
bishop
f6.
f6. Hmm.
But what
Okay.
Arjun has
So
done in the game, it looks good for him.
yeah, this pawn structure is very okay. You can play f5, but this pawn structure is restrictive. Let's just put it that way. यहाँ पे pawn नहीं होता, for example. तो knight e5, knight d3 जैसी एक possibility थी future में. अभी वो pawn है, तो knight कहाँ से आएगा d3 पे? b4 भी square controlled है. So c5 is the only square from which the knight can come to d3, which is the juicy outpost he's eyeing. So knight c4, rook e8. And rook d1, I guess, or he's threatening b5. Yeah, so let's play b5.
I think he played b4, yeah? b4 and
Ah.
b5, just taking the pawn on e5. C pawn, take pawn.
Yeah, makes sense. So b5 played, b5 played. Areva, we got there. We are up to 309 likes. Very nice, guys. Good going. Um, there is an interesting question in the chat. Keshav KR, and please, Srinath, you please take this one. The question is Fabiano bit weak now considering pre-COVID form? So I guess he means compared to 2019, is he weaker now? Okay, Srinath, please.
I don't think he's any weaker, but the number of strong players in the world has grown by quite a bit. The number of new entrants uh, to the top, I think that has increased by quite a bit, and that is the main difference from then to now. If we, for example, look at the Vacancy field this year, it is touted as the strongest field in Vacancy, and a lot of people objected to it, saying that it used to have people from the top 10. But okay, it's becoming a very long answer.
No, please tell me. No, we are listening.
Yeah, but I think the Olympiad showed literally that a lot of these juniors they can compete with the very best in the world. Gukesh's performance, Abdul Satro beating Fabiano, Gukesh beating Fabiano, and as such, the number of strong players who can challenge the elite, it has grown by quite a bit. That is, I think, the main difference. It's not that they have become weaker, but others have become stronger.
That's a very good perspective, Srinath. Thank you. And I think this is the main perspective that people miss because they are like, I mean, obviously, when you're following a sport, you think, Arey, this guy was the dominating all the tournaments. He was coming in top three, top four, winning all the tournaments, and suddenly he's struggling against new players. But these new players have improved so much that they are one of the strongest players now. So that's why it's not like the guy you were rooting for has become weaker, but other guys have become stronger. That's a very nice and important perspective there. Thanks. But what's happening here is game is like,
It has flipped totally out of control for Arjun, and
but
now I think he,
is it bad or
yeah,
is it okay? Like I'm that's something I'm not really able
no,
to.
it's okay in the sense that he can, I think, still save the game. He has enough counterplay for that, but it's very tricky. It's Arjun fighting for the draw here, and there's a pretty decent chance of it going out of control. Knight c3 is
Okay,
a nice move, and now it should be a repetition. Knight c2, king d3.
yeah,
Oh,
sensible.
he Fabiano keeps fighting on because he can take these pawns g4 and h5 pretty
Oh, but now
easily,
huh? Yes,
but
and
white doesn't have it. Yeah, white doesn't have the same option. What
yeah,
is king c4? It's a bad move, I think.
yeah. King e4. No, he was afraid of the pawns rolling.
But the knight on c3 was handling that.
Yes, yes. Like
King
this
c4 was
part.
a very
Or maybe even king
very
d6
bad move. It
preventing king.
feels like we are going to the bullet with 9-9.
What's happening? Why is the board flipped? Okay, knight g6. Why is the board flipping? We are
Yeah,
having.
h2 is an important move. It gains that one tempo. And although Arjun is also queening, black will be a piece up and trades the queen by
It's
force. The g
very
pawn
smart.
wins, and it's 9-9 at the end of the blitz portion.
Okay. This was a completely crazy game. I think lots of things happened. We have some time, so let's just go through it a little bit so that we can explain to the chat what happened briefly. And we were looking at this position and quite happy with what Arjun got. And then what happened? Shri knight c4 guy, rook e8, supporting this pawn. Then what happened? b4. Yeah, we like this. We even saw this. Yeah, I think here he had to take rook d1. King d1 is very awkward. I just feel like, oh, he
Yeah,
doesn't
he
like
had to take rook d1,
he
but
doesn't like this.
already
And
it was
then
a bit of a tricky spot there. Yeah, this knight when he took knight into e5 and black played rook d5, it was a bit tricky for Arjun already. Both the e5 knight and the b5 pawn were attacked simultaneously, so it would
maybe
have been
better to take
yeah, exactly.
and like maybe even take with bishop or knight, whatever.
Yeah, with the bishop feels a bit better because with the knight, once again after rook d5, the knight has to decide where to go. But with the bishop, it would have been better.
Yeah. So he took knight e5, and then this whole awkward thing happened. And now black is not material down, and his knight also got completely out
Yeah,
of.
here the momentum started to shift completely.
Uh, Actually, here he could have taken this because now after rook a7, you're attacking this knight. So when you take and you make a square for your knight on c4, knight on g4 becomes completely off.
Exactly.
And now you are threatening b4, so you can't take because after knight b5 c3 is hanging, you don't even have rook a3 because knight into a3, so knight f2, attacking e4, and here also I think maybe just take was better. Take and knight d1. Anyway, so okay, this is also fine, all fine, but already this is great for black compared to what he had. And then we saw all of this is they were under a lot of time pressure here, but still manageable. Knight c3, we really like this move. यहाँ पे white is not taking this pawn because black can take these pawns very quickly. So he keeps attacking the knight and forces him to go to a weaker position. फिर यहाँ पर शायद king d6 खेलना चाहिए था because now you cannot play king g5 because e7 knight is hanging, and for a3 we have e4.
Yeah, king c4 was a very panic move from Arjun.
Hmm.
and kind of defeats the purpose of king d5. If he wanted to take on a4, he could have taken in the previous move before playing king d5.
That's true. Now, king g5, knight a4, king g4, e4. Yeah, and this got this is very
Yeah, it was a very weird move, king c4. Maybe Arjun miscalculated that it's a repetition.
oh no, but knight was on e7, no?
Yeah, the knight was at a completely different position, but maybe he just got confused there because he had been playing king d5, king c4. He had been playing king c4 a few times.
Right, just yeah, definitely. And this is how black won. This is a very nice point that after king e5, guys, h1, yeah, and also pawn to e7 to e. I thought pawn is already in e7. So yeah, and queen c6, very nice way to end the game because no tension. Then you simply push the g5 pawn. Okay, so that's that. And now we'll wait for the bullet section, which is 1 plus 1. It is not 1 0. There is an increment. So there is the you can still flag, but there'll be a little lesser chance of flagging. And 30 minutes of 1 plus 1 bullet games. How do you rate Arjun's chances in this section, Srinath?
I think Arjun should be a slight favorite here, something like 55-45. He has a lot of experience in bullet, but there is another dimension in these matches, Soumya. After playing these 18 games and for for almost 2.5 hours, the players have a better idea of each other's shape and strengths and weaknesses as of today. So, for example, this is not just a bullet match, but a bullet match after knowing each other better. Fabiano has an idea of what openings has been working for Arjun. It's vice versa. Arjun has had a few openings which has worked well for him, but uh, this will be one advantage, I think, that is slightly more in Fabiano's favor, that the match is in this stage.
So, tell me one thing, Shri, that what openings do you think have worked out well for Arjun so far, and do you think he should change the ones that have not worked, or should he stick to his strategy? Because obviously he might have revised those openings before the match.
I think some of the 1d4 openings, Arjun has been under a bit of pressure, especially in these Slav positions. So that's one opening where Fabiano has been doing, I think, slightly better in the match. And secondly, I noticed that Arjun has lost a lot of games with the white pieces, especially when he went a bit berserk. Like, for example, he lost 2 games in just the Jobava London. And it's not just for the openings to blame. He did get a decent position in the last game. But nevertheless, I think Arjun has had a somewhat better success today in simpler positions.
Right. Yeah, for the chat, Jobava London is this one, the one which we saw in the last game with the pawn to d4, knight to c3, and bishop to f4. And the other one that Srinath was talking about is with the black pieces. Oh, they have started. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Arjun is black, and let's go, chat. Let's send him energy and let's see what's happening. Okay, let's stick to the present position क्योंकि bullet में तो पीछे आगे पीछे जाने का कोई point नहीं है. The game is going really fast. B3 played by Fabiano.
Second move.
Yeah, okay, but transpose.
It's in the second move.
Knight b5 maybe. Okay, queen c2 attacking e4, but would be taking it would be risky. Maybe bishop e2 now. Yes, bishop g4 would run into knight e4 and that.
Yeah. So knight a6 maybe.
Knight a6, knight b4 is the idea. So a3 played, rook e8 maybe.
But and now c5. Bishop d, yeah, rook e8 looks nice.
Knight c7, and you want to go knight d5, is it? Bishop d7. Oh, nice.
Yeah, just develop the pieces. Rook a c8 next, or a5. A5 looks good.
Yeah, a5 looks
Undermining
good.
the pawn.
This square is controlled, so there is no knight f5 with a double attack on bishop because it will be taken for free. Short castle AB bishop before b1 a pawn. What happened? Knight e4 he thought, or what? What?
No, I think he kind of just gave up that pawn.
Okay, queen b7 is impossible
Don't
because
ask me
of
why.
e8 and the queen would
It's
die.
time to go some queen e5 stuff. Yeah, no. h5, h4, first weaken it and then queen e5.
Yeah, brilliant. I like
But
this.
now
d6
is vulnerable.
हाँ, इसीलिए रुक f d8 खेला क्योंकि knight f5 थ्रेट था. Bishop f5 के बाद d6 भी प्रोटेक्ट हो जाएगा रुक d8 से. Very nice. And h4 knight c2. अभी bishop on d6 is hanging. Let's not blunder it. Bishop e5, knight b4. Black is a pawn up, guys. Black is a pawn up. If he just plays normally, he's going to win. Bishop e6.
Bishop e6. Nice move.
Can we take? Or can we play rook c8 or something? Acha, rook d2 and rook d8 maybe, huh? Just exchange the pieces, no? We have pawn up.
Yeah. The problem for Arjun is he has too many nice options. And he just chooses the most simple way, goes into the endgame, and this knight comes to f3, knight g5, knight f3.
Knight g4, knight h2 even. Wow, fantastic. Oh, but knight e4 is hanging. But okay, we don't care. We take it. We take the pawn.
Yeah, the h pawn is just too valuable.
Bishop b2. Bishop b2. Rook b2.
Now knight g4 back, yeah?
Yes. And h2. f3. f5. Yes. Knight d6. Knight g5 check. Knight g5 check. Oh no.
Yeah, but then king g2.
And then
king
f3
g.
at some point. So knight b7 maybe. Rook
d8 and rook d2 because you want
right.
to attack f2 and e3. So he has to go back knight c4. Then there's b5.
Yes, let's go. Knight c4 controlling the d2 square. b5. Let's go. b5 and rook
b5 is knight c6 though. So Arjun sees it and goes king g7.
Yes, king g7, f3, knight f6, king h2. We have lost the h3 pawn, but we still can play for a lot here. What's happening, guys? Knight h5,
yeah,
knight h2, knight g3 now. Rook d7.
Yes, rook e2 is made.
Yes, rook king e6. Cute move, but this is dangerous. This is getting dangerous now. Knight d5 is a threat. Knight
dangerous
e4.
for both of them.
This is dangerous for both. And
yeah, knight e2, knight c3. Arjun can take a draw anytime, but he will probably no, he takes a draw. Starts with a draw.
Okay, good game. This was fun to watch. c4, e5, knight c3, knight c6, d3, g6, g3, bishop g2, knight. Okay, castle, very fast. This is very fast. Oh,
Fabiano has broken out of jail a lot of games in this match. I noticed he's been very resilient.
Yeah, that's true. Knight d8 on the board, b6 even. ये pawn दो मुंह में queen बन सकती है अगर इस pawn को हटा दो तो board से. f5. Okay, now this queen is on this diagonal, so we need to move it. Yes, queen a3, knight f7, rook d1. What next? g5. Whom would you take here, Sri? White or black?
Black, because this b6 pawn is stuck there. White is not having free flowing play on the queen side, and after blocking the play there, now Fabi focuses on the king side. He's rolling his pawns. So black is preferable here, and Arjun, the momentum is with Fabiano.
All right, but d4 I like this move. Now d5 coming in, but then bishop c3 he's going to take. Yeah, we can even take knight d5 by the way. cd5.
Yeah, but either way, this g2 bishop is blocked after e4.
But regardless, we always play e3 and bishop f1 and bishop b5. No, we have a future for it.
That is why Fabi took with the bishop instead of the knight. So if you play e3, then the black knight comes to g6 and e5.
All right, then f5 pawn is constantly under attack. h3, good move, I would say. You take and bishop
h3 is a good move. Relieves some of the pressure.
Yes. And 5 is under attack. If you take, then I take I mean, I just take the pawn and then bishop e4 will be hanging. So rook c1, another good move. We want to exchange pieces so that we don't get checkmated due to a huge attack. Bishop at
Queen
6.
c7. Oh no, he wants bishop at e3.
Oh,
And
that's what we want. So yeah, queen c3, good move. Again, king g6, queen c3. Now we want to go queen c7. E2 is hanging. Bishop f1 maybe. Oh, d5 is hanging. So
yeah,
queen c7. Let's go queen c7. You take my pawn. I'll take your pawn on b6 and d6 and
yeah. Now the
okay.
thing is, it's hard to improve black's position.
How about knight c4 and take
Queen
b6?
e8 check.
Okay, so you're and queen f7.
Yeah, I guess just queen d8.
I think we need to activate our bishop at some point.
Ideally, but also it's dangerous to touch that e pawn because then that knight comes to f3.
Yeah, but bishop f1, bishop e2.
Knight d2 now, I think. Yeah, knight e5, and then that knight comes
Bishop
to
e5. We
f3.
have bishop e8. We can also checkmate. We can also checkmate black. Why not? Bishop e8. Let's go. Let's try. Oh, queen g8. Okay. Okay.
Now
Uh,
what? Bishop
what's
e
happening? King
queen.
g2.
Yeah, just
Nice
king
move.
g2.
Getting
Useful
out
move.
of the check. Getting out of the check and knight f3, bishop e8. This is dangerous for black. This is dangerous for black. Queen g7 will run into queen e6. Queen d5 is also possible. Take the pawn. Okay. King g5, queen d5. Oh, queen
Queen
a1.
e1 now. Queen d8.
No, but we always have queen g8. No, so we always have a perpetual.
Yeah.
Queen e7, queen c7. Ah, nice. Bishop f7, checkmate.
Bishop f7 is checkmate.
Yes. Yes.
Wow.
Yes. 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 We got it.
That
Fantastic.
was too risky.
Oh.
Oh, good old London. Good old London.
Ah, so now the knight is on b2, guys. That's why it's not the Joba one, London. I hope you got f5. Knight e5. Arjun is black though, so let's flip. F3. Oh, this was almost what he played in that game as well, the other games. C4. Hey, this is good. Now we get our desired a6, b5, b4. Chalo. Queen e7, queen c5 coming in. A6
Arjun's
and b5.
playing a bit more safely now. Yeah, he's not going berserk anymore. He's keeping control a bit better.
Yeah, and I think he's playing. I think he's like all the bullet training has really come very useful. All the lockdown training of bullet and what is it? Hyperbullet. Hyperbullet has come.
Yeah, hyper bullet is 30 seconds each. Ultra bullet is
10 plus
15
1.
seconds each.
Oh, 15 seconds. Yes.
10
H3.
plus 1 is actually kind of civilized because there is a 1 second increment.
Oh, 15 seconds flat. Is that what you play?
Yeah.
Oh, okay then.
Yeah. They play. So you have to be very good at anticipating pre-moves and that.
Okay, that's very tough. But now h5 is coming in.
Yeah.
Do we just exchange this rook and play rook 8? He will still play rook g1, kya?
Oh, I just completely forgot that Arjun is black in this game. I thought Arjun was white. I was very happy with white's position.
Yeah.
Looking at the London, I got
Is it possible
confused.
to take 5? Rook b4, take, and f5 is hanging after rook b2. But e6, rook b7, maybe rook g7 check would be played first, I think.
Yeah,
Right,
rook g7 check, and this is completely lost for black because this f and e pawns are just too strong connected.
Yeah.
Black has a lone passed pawn on c4, and that is easily controlled by white's king.
But now c3?
Just even rook g1, I think. This bishop on a8 is also very unfortunately f6.
F6 and c2.
And now you can just play bishop c2. Simplest.
Yeah. And now there is no rook f2. Rook c8 will be met with rook g8. Okay. So good game by white. A very instructive game. Okay, 10.5 versus 10.5 scores are level, guys. This is heating up. Queen
Yeah, it's still
6.
equal.
Oh, this is too much. Knight f3. Okay, okay, then this is an absurd opening. Queen e7, c6, h4. Long castle, nice. We go long castle when in doubt. King b1, rook c1, maybe c4.
C4. It's a
Okay.
good start for Arjun, no? Good position.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
center.
yeah. Rook c1, yes, yes, yes. And where does Black's king castle? He doesn't really have a safe haven for his king. Um. Okay, c5, good move by
I
Black.
think he'll castle short.
Oh, he will castle short, but then we attack long.
Yeah, but because this bishop on b7 is such a
Rook
useful
h3,
defensive
rook
piece.
g3 once again. Why not? Yes.
You can do that,
He did it.
but ultimately you'll need this queen to come to e4, no? Without that, it's such an
Knight e6 was
impediment.
possible there. Okay, it's fine. Knight e3, c4. And now he can't really push b4 because c4 is hanging, guys. So rook c8 एक move खेलनी पड़ेगी. But we have rook g3 then. We have rook g3 and knight g4. So we have our own ideas.
It's actually quite double-edged, this position. f5 is a fantastic defensive move, I think. A very strong practical move, but this also weakens these g6 squares, so it will allow white to play knight e5.
e6 also,
Ooh,
no?
nice. Knight g4. Fancy
Knight g4
stuff.
was very fancy because queen e6 was hanging and then queen into g4. So knight e5. Now I really like white. Oh, what?
Wow. Wow. This works,
Oh,
Soumya.
checkmate ही हो जाएगा अभी तो. Knight f7. Knight g6
Discovered
checkmate.
attack.
Hey, let's just checkmate. Wow, what is this? Oh, he resigned.
Yeah, Fabi's not going to let you checkmate.
Wow,
He
wow, wow.
will
मजा आ गया.
resign
Again,
gracefully.
Arjun is black.
Oh,
French
look at this French defense knight e4. This opening Arjun has played so much, and he's played this quite a bit against Magnus also in Bullet. It's
Oh,
a
really?
tricky opening to face in Bullet.
Yeah, this is an opening I also face with white in bullet. My opponents keep playing 94. Now I'll know whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, Arjun has played this a lot, but Fabi seems to know what he's doing here, and this long castle is a very risky move. The king is going to come under a lot of attack with a4. This feels very, very, very risky.
Oh, my king. My poor king is left without any guards.
e3 is Arjun's intention.
Oh, tactics. But actually, okay, rook f c1, king b8, bishop c6, ef2, queen f2 we can take.
Yeah, and queen f4, I think. Arjun will somehow look to trade the queens.
And queen f2. Queen c2 is possible?
Queen c2 might allow some rook d2.
Rook d2. Ah, nice, nice, nice. This is beautiful. So queen b3, but we still have this stuff. Yeah?
That just feels like okay, he's gone. It just feels wrong from white to go in this direction.
Rook d2 feels correct. Queen b3 ko queen b4 we have, right?
Yeah, exactly. Queen b4. Yeah.
This is good. Queen f3
Yes,
goes
and
to
that second win in a row is, I think, very important for momentum.
Yeah, that's true. Like to reinforce, the fact that you are the one dominating the match.
Wow, Fabi goes for the queen sacrifice, which is actually a very
Good idea.
good move.
Rook 8 checkmate हो रहा है अभी.
I think
Oh,
Arjun just blended. He blended rook a6.
yes. Rook a7 also can be taken now. Oh.
Yeah, but there is hope in this endgame. So if the b2 pawn is taken.
Yeah, it will be. It will be. So knight g5 and f7 is hanging.
f6.
Very important move here. f6, f5. Yeah, good enough. Good enough. G6. Let's go. Rook B5. Can we play?
He wants to trade the pawn with G5, I think. And now white is not really winning. Yeah, G5, G4 is the idea.
GH4 is also. Acha, G4, huh? F4 and F3. Oh no.
But knight G4, no?
Yeah, sorry. G4.
Knight G4, F2. This is good for white, I think. The H pawn is too dangerous.
But how do you stop the H pawn? Rook. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is looking bad for Arjun.
Yeah. Now King G5, King G6.
Yeah, now Fabi is just winning.
E5, E4 you'll take. No, you can't take. This
no,
is
no,
draw.
no. You have to be careful. You have to be careful. The G2 pawn suddenly.
This could be a... Oh, Bishop F7, Bishop G8 was his idea.
What? What is this Rook B7, Rook B2? Arjun gave up there. I think he had some better chance to defend.
Okay. Okay, let's go. 11.5 versus 11.5.
Still equal.
Too close this match. And Fabi goes for French against Arjun's E4. So both of them relying on the French defense with the black pieces against E4. Queen, Bishop G5, Queen F7, Queen E2. Long castle will surely be played. Yes, that's it. We have an opposite side castling position.
Wow! What?
Pre-moved or what? No, we take
H knight G5 he wants.
Yes. Queen H5. What a nice move actually, Srinath. I don't know if it works, but it was a nice move. Maybe it was spread.
I don't think so. This variation feels so.
Rook D3. Okay, CD3. Now you want to play D4 and put your knight on E5. Yes. Let's go. F2 is hanging, so let's protect it. A3 maybe. No, A3 was not played. Bishop D2, A5, A3. No A3. Rook E1, Rook E8. E6 was hanging. King A1, Bishop A6, Queen E3, Queen F4 will be played. So shortly, Rook C1. Srinath, what are your thoughts about the position?
I didn't like when Arjun gave up that light square bishop once again. It's more comfortable for black now. Strategically better for black. And Fabian has been playing fantastically well in the bullet portion, Soumya. He has been very good at reacting.
Now let's take it. Yeah, I agree, Srinath, but can we take it now? E6.
We can, but I think black would be happy. Takes a knight E4, completely dominating position. And that rook might get trapped as well.
All right, then. We decide not to take it. Knight E4 anyway, na?
Yeah, F3 now.
Oh, knight C5 doesn't even take on D2. He's not giving us any chance to breathe. Queen D4, okay. Knight E2 was okay, unexpected. Rook B1, E5 might be under trouble now because the knight on D3 attacks the E5 square. Oh, this is a good idea. A4, A3, very good idea by Fabi. But now our rook is also opened up. It's just that we shouldn't allow any checks on C3. Please.
This looks terrible, no?
Yeah.
But yeah, you just have to take the A3 pawn, I think. Queen C3 check bishop B2.
Queen C3? He did not play Queen C3? Okay. Bishop C4
yeah, because there was bishop D2. So he makes a more difficult threat. And now some rook A8 should finish the game off at some point.
A3, rook A3. That's the problem. Oh.
Knight B3, I guess.
Knight B3. At least some defense. Knight C5. Queen C2. हम भी क्वीन सैक्रिफाइस दे देंगे फैबी ने लास्ट गेम में दिया था हम अभी इस गेम में दे देंगे क्वीन A3 yeah good move here
yeah but
bishop B2 knight C5
I don't know if you can find a favorable circumstance to do it.
Yeah, this is annoying. Now rook on B1 की वजह से queen A2 is a mate actually. Black allows, white allows.
But somehow Arjun has been holding on.
Yeah.
Somehow Arjun has been holding on.
This game is not yet over. I mean, oh.
What a difference.
You think there's going to be a turnaround? Because so far, Fabi hasn't managed to break through. Now this D2 square is protected. A3 is guarded.
Rook E1.
It's still annoying to play this position, but maybe white can hold.
Yeah, if Fabi's time goes down, it can get tricky, but Fabi has been keeping up the
Now we're
tempo.
threatening queen d4.
And
Queen
queen
e4.
e4 check, important move.
Oh,
Oh
we
my god. Oh, finally he
blundered the
collapses.
bishop.
Finally he collapses.
Oh, this was tough.
It was such a
But then,
valiant effort.
this was a great effort by Arjun, and it's just so unfortunate that at the last moment he blundered the bishop on d2 by allowing bishop f3. The e5 was the culprit. E5 यहाँ पे e5 नहीं खेलना चाहिए था, पर ठीक है. No time to analyze. Let's go.
Yeah.
Benoni, my favorite opening in the whole world, is on the board. I always am happy to see the Benoni. Bishop f3, bishop f3. Yes. Now knight a6. Okay, this is another idea. And we maybe b6 here. Okay, fine. h6 played, g5. Let's go. Okay, we don't have the light squared bishop. Usually bishop g6 पे जाता है अगर fine. It's all right. It's a bullet game. No need to
Now Fabiano has won 2 games in a row, and this is actually a pretty dangerous zone for Arjun. You see, he's been playing quite fast in this game, but is knight d5 an option now?
Oh, 95, nice trick. Wow. Well spotted there, Shri. Yes. So we got a pawn there. That's an achievement. And rook d4.
Yeah, much needed break for Arjun, because strategically his position was just busted there.
So knight h5 has to be played. Okay, fine. Knight g6. The problem with Benoni is, even if you get some material, your positional
knight h5 is blundered.
Oof. But he didn't play it because queen f5 aa raha tha na. Queen on c2 was not guarded. So
yeah.
C5
Maybe
is
he
also
didn't
not
blunder.
possible.
Yeah.
Knight c4 now.
Knight c4 looks good.
Force. अरे पर अभी knight
g4
आ रहा है. Ah.
Wow.
Nice. Okay, that worked out. So g2 is hanging. Do we
h5? Yeah, nice. Good going.
Can we?
Good going. Head g4.
I'm just
h5 is
concerned
open.
about knight f3. Knight c5 will run into knight f3, Srinath, and take and checkmate on g2. So
Nice. Well spotted, Soumya.
And
now rook h8, queen h6 threats.
Hi. But we shouldn't blunder knight f5. But this is beautiful. Rook h8 on the board already. White has to exchange the
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not checkmate though, because knight on g3 is guarding the h1 square. Is that knight d3? Knight d3? Oh, he didn't see it.
He missed it. Knight d3 was great.
But anyway, there's knight f5 check. It was not clear.
That's why. So rook d1 preventing, but queen c2 now?
Queen c2, I think he'll just move his rook away again, back to e1.
I'll
ask
take
how are you improving. That's dangerous. Queen f6 and stuff,
Yes. Queen h7, nice move. What? It's bad? Rook e5? What?
Yeah, because now there's just no good defense against d6. He's just losing this one. Queen g6 loses the h8 rook, and queen h6 there's queen d8 and knight f5.
Oh, this is what he missed perhaps. The knight f5 here and attacking the king and the queen. Oh,
yeah, now there's queen d8 and knight f5.
Knight f5. Oh God, this is painful. This is painful. Come on,
but still, there's still game on.
Oh, what a trick! Queen e4. This is a draw. This is a draw.
Is this just a draw though?
Why didn't he
Knight f3 check. Knight f3 check and knight e1. It's black who's in the driver's seat.
He wants to win.
Queen h3 is winning.
Queen g2 is the win. King h6. Piece up. Queen e7.
Queen e7. Yeah, it's incredibly tricky. You have to avoid perpetual.
क्या खेलते हैं यार ये दोनों बढ़िया मतलब what a game a6 queen h5 यहाँ पे checkmate.
Just avoid all the checks.
Checkmate. King
f2. Yes, king f2, queen f5 check now.
King f3.
Oh no, he's allowed g3. Queen h5 is checkmate. Yes, finally.
Checkmate. Yes. Cut and half. not giving Fabi any breathing
Just
space.
4 minutes to go, Soumya. This is almost like sudden
Oh,
death.
come on,
Chat, do
Arjun.
smash that like button so
Come
more
on,
people can
Arjun.
tune
You
in.
got this.
This is the situation.
Oh, Fabi,
What
and
an what
I
an
just saw,
important win that was.
yeah, and I just saw Fabi's expression on the stream, like he was very frustrated. So it's a very good sign. Let's go. Uh, 94, maybe.
It's
Ah,
just 4 minutes to go, Soumya. This is, I think, one of the most closest speeches matches
only
I've ever witnessed.
two more games. Only two more games, probably. If they play a long game, this one, Bishop at
Yeah, and
6.
Arjun has kept things very simple for this game. But
Mm-hmm.
is he in a spot of danger? Not really, because G5 it's still a pin, so he has knight B3, knight D4, and can get his
H4.
pieces out.
H4?
H4 also is possible. Black will, I think, support with queen G7.
Take. Here, you will take back. Take queen G7, king G7, rook E7. He's thinking. Okay. Knight B3.
After a
Uh,
long think,
yes. He has 32 seconds. Okay. Not bad. Knight B3 on the board.
he spent 20 seconds for knight B3. That's one third of your time in this time control. But
Yes.
Fabian also going for a long think. Likewise,
Rook
they
E8,
both
knight
know that this is the
E4.
clutch moment.
Yeah. They both realize that there are only two games left and they have to perform now. Bishop D2, F4.
Yeah, there won't be chances to come back if this goes bad.
Hmm. Queen E2, Bishop D4, CD4, opposite color
Bishop
Bishop
d4, I'd be
actually.
very happy with white.
Huh. Because
And Fabi also, I think, will not give up his strategic advantage of pair of bishops.
and your pawn structure would have also gotten corrected after CD.
Exactly.
G4 is
Oh,
possible.
queen d4. Nice, nice. It's
Why?
always,
But why didn't you play Bishop G7? He doesn't want to go into this knight versus Bishop endgame. Oh, now it's
yeah,
very
I think he
risky for
doesn't want
black.
to give up the pair of bishops.
Now I like it for white, yeah. The king is not so okay, but our king is also not so safe.
Yeah, black is better. Black is like gradually outplaying white here.
Hmm.
He has, he has, yeah, now
Oh,
the queens are also traded. And it's just a clear advantage with the pair of bishops. It's also going to be a long drawn out endgame, which is like the worst scenario for Arjun.
but why is black so much better here? Why can't it be equal? Are what
It's
is
because of the
C3?
bishops.
Why C3? Oh no.
It's panic, panic. Arjun realizes
Oh,
that he's losing control, and
it was not
oh, this
required.
I think this I think is a very critical game. He resigns, and now he has to win with black on demand. Fabiano needs to draw, and this
Fabi
is going to be
is
tough.
happy with
Arjun
this.
won once with demand, once won with black on demand, but doing it two times in a row is going to be tough.
Yeah, actually, I saw Fabi giving out a small smile there, so he was actually quite relieved. But yeah, okay, fine. We can. It's a bullet game. We can come back. Why not? Rook A8,
Absolutely.
A4, E4 on the board, knight D4, knight
E4
E5.
is a bad move. He should have, because now this E4 pawn gets a bit weak and gives white a lot of strategic
Oh
advantage.
no, this pawn. A5. Fabi, like really playing very well.
Rook
Rook
A7.
A7.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
Rook A7, super strong.
Oh,
And he's taken the E4 pawn. Arjun's position just disintegrating and collapsing now.
yeah. This
Calmly
is.
comes back.
But okay, we are only a pawn down. Is it much worse? Knight G5 played. Knight to F3. Knight E4. Let's activate our pieces. The problem is how. Bishop D3. Knight F6. Knight H4 is again.
Yeah,
Knight
knight
C.
h4 is one way.
Okay. Uh,
Also, he's just keeping control and just
yeah.
crushing
This is
Arjun on the queen side.
yeah. D5 was necessary. You have to create breathing space no matter what. Queen D5 maybe. Queen D6. Okay, good move. Queen D6. B5. Yeah, knight c5. Let's go. Knight c5. We create our chances.
Yeah.
Bishop h6 maybe, yeah? Just get out of that diagonal. Oh, knight e4.
No,
Then
then
bishop.
white will get on the diagonal, I think.
Oh, knight
Now he's
h4.
down by 3 pawns, right?
Oh, but we got oh no, that rook is supported with the rook on a7. That's easy to miss. Knight b5
Yeah.
भी possible नहीं है क्योंकि bishop b5 control कर रहा है.
No,
Now
now queen b2 is a threat. I think it's over.
it's okay. We'll fight.
Queen
We'll
b2
fight.
was a
Maybe
threat.
f6. Knight d4, knight e6. Not really possible because our knight controls it. Now we are threatening rook d5. So what are you doing about it? Rook d5. Chalo, let's go. We
He
got one pawn
doesn't
back.
mind, I
Rook
guess.
d5. Knight e4. ठीक है. But
Rook
that's
c7, and that's, I think, the game and match.
oof. Rook c7. Huge blunder there by Arjun. Queen c7 would run into knight e6. Oof, oof, oof. There is
Wow,
one.
that was such a close match, but
Time's
it
up.
just came to the last 2 clutch games by Fabiano, and I think he really played better in those clutch situations.
Yeah, very upsetting indeed for Arjun. And you got to feel for him. He played so well, and we were like so impressed by his play throughout the match. 5+1 में तो उन्होंने जो लीड ली थी ना, मतलब बहुत ही मजा आया उनके गेम्स देखकर. 3-1 में आई थिंक फैबी गॉट बैक, ही बाउंस बैक. उन्होंने पता नहीं ब्रेक में क्या खाया. आई डोंट नो व्हाट happened to him suddenly. He got some pep talk and he got back really strong. And Arjun finally got a couple of wins in the 3-1 section and equalized the score. But in the bullet, I mean, Fabi, like they kept exchanging wins. They kept dealing each other blows every game after game. And in the penultimate game was what I think cost Arjun the match victory, because that was extremely crucial, as we kept on saying, and that went Fabi's way. So the last round, as a result, was, I mean, that going Fabi's way was just like the final nail on the coffin, and then this game also, Fabi just gave Arjun no chances at all.
Yeah, and I have to say that it was Fabi somehow kept getting better as the match progressed. He had a slow start, but in the in the critical situations, I think Fabi truly played better today and was a deserving winner.
Yeah, Fabi showing some real class especially in difficult positions. He was able to make a draw in really some dubious positions, and I think that's extremely important in order to overall finish well, because you are bound to get into some difficult positions at some point, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Fantastic, Srinath. This was so much fun to follow. It's the first time I have personally followed a speed chess championship match through and through. Thanks to you for your awesome company. Thanks to our chat for such great support, and our producers for making this happen, and mainly to the players for a fantastic show.
Absolutely, Soumya. It was great to come back here, commentate with you, and great to be with the chat as well after such a long time. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we have the India-Uzbekistan semi-finals tomorrow at 6:15 p.m.
Wow, that is going to be amazing to watch. Uzbekistan, the defending champions, in the Olympiad, the current Olympic champions, in fact, and India having a chance to get through to the finals tomorrow. It's going to be amazing to watch.
Absolutely. So do tune in tomorrow at 6:15 p.m.
Yes, guys. Bye-bye. Have a great evening, and thank you so much for joining us. Do see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.